Well, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another Friday night, which means another live lawn care Q&A. My name is Ron Henry, and I am here to help answer your lawn care questions. If this is the first time you're joining the show or the live stream, first of all, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is super simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. In that chat box, you lay down your question, comment, concerns of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not, but either way, we have a great time talking about lawn care and other lawn-related subjects. All right, so let's see who we have in the chat tonight. We got VMH kicking it off tonight saying, hey Ron, happy Friday. What's going on, VMH? Happy to see you here, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out. Guys, it was kind of cool having the week off last week to go do some fun martial arts stuff in Florida, but I'm glad to be back in the chair, hanging out with you guys, talking about lawn care. We got Brick Rehab up next. He's saying, looking a little sleepy in that thumbnail, Ron, the lawn, not you. Yeah, man, the lawn is checked out. So it's funny. We were getting really cool temperatures in the 40s and sometimes in the high 30s a week ago. And here recently, it started warming up a little bit more. So we'll see if any of the color comes back. I'll show you guys what the lawn is looking like a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, for me, the color is largely taken off. There's not much mowing, left. I might mow tomorrow just do a cleanup cut in the back, but it definitely doesn't need it. Absolutely does not need it. So hopefully you guys, your lawns are maintaining a little bit more color than mine is. All right, next up we got Jackie Bear saying, let's roll. We're here, Jackie. Let's get going, man, right? And then Higgy pops in the house saying, hey, Ron, happy Friday. What's going on, Higgy? You know, it's fun. The one cool thing that really came out of the Real Rollers Turf Park party, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? But now, whenever a person like says, hey, so Higgy Pop says, hey, what's going on? Now I know the actual person, what they look like. So that was a cool aspect of the Real Rollers Turf Park party a couple weeks ago. So it was really, really nice meeting a lot of you guys. Okay, next up we have Mr. Josh Bronco. Guys, and definitely get your questions queued up. I'm not sure how long we're going to go tonight because there's not a ton of questions in the live stream just yet. So definitely get your questions queued up if you wanna hang out for a bit. And we got Josh Bronco up saying, still going strong with color for Tiff Tough and 419 in Raleigh. You're doing better than me, man. I gotta tell you, I took a video here. If I can show you guys the savagery that I'm dealing with in the back lawn right now. So take a look at this. This was right before the live stream. You can see there's a little bit of color near the house, a little bit of color out there towards where the tree used to be. And it's largely checking out, largely going away. You can see it fell off hard, man. That cold snap and then the lack of rain that we haven't had. We haven't had any meaningful rainfall in weeks. We had a little drizzle there the other day, but nothing really to write home about. And the lawn's feeling it. That coupled with cold weather, it's saying, see you in the spring, right? So there you go. But I'm glad to hear that your lawn is holding its color. Definitely a good thing. All right, next up is John Dugan. He says, the leaves have changed and fallen. Mow, mulch, or bag them. Your thoughts? So it depends. If it's a very small amount of leaves, depends how many leaves you're dealing with. If it's like where your entire lawn is covered in leaves, you want to get that up. You don't want to mow over or mulch a bunch of, like a ton of leaves, and just unnecessarily build up, create like thatch issues and just put a lot of debris in the lawn unnecessarily. If it's a small amount, like you got like 1 or 2 trees in the lawn and you want to mow over them, you want to mulch them, like that's not that big a deal. But there are some lawns that you look at the pictures of them this time of year and literally you can't see the grass. It's literally all covered in leaves. That I would not mulch. I would get that out. Fun fact, a friend of mine that owns a landscaping company, like landscaping business and company, they do a couple different things. He said that this time of year is actually their busiest time of year. Like as far as like what is the most like demand or resource intensive, it's like now in the fall, because when they're mowing lawns in the spring and summer, they just mow, edge blow, they're done. All is good. But and for the most part, people don't want the clippings bagged. They mulch and then that's it. But this time of year, when people want their leaves cleaned up, now they've got to bag all that stuff up and they have to take it away and dispose of it. So it's a lot more labor intensive at least for his lawn care service. I'm not sure if all are that way, but for him, that this is the busy time of year for him. But yeah, John, if the answer is like most things in life, it depends. If it's a very small amount of leaves, you can mulch them. But I mean, if it's anything substantial, I wouldn't do that for for between now and the springtime when the lawn wakes up, in other words. So if you want to do it every other time, fine, but I would not. If your lawn is completely covered where you can't even see the grass, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't mulch it. I would get them out of the lawn. Good question though. It's great. Great question, and it's appropriate for this time of year. All right. Next up, we have a TK in the house. He says, "Hey Ron, I have a cool season lawn. I'm in New Jersey. Do you have any tips for me trying to keep my lawn greener for longer over the winter? Also, I've been hearing a lot about biostimulants. What do they do?" So great questions. A lot in that one. Let's unpack each of them. So as far as keeping your lawn greener longer over the winter, what I would say is while your grass is still actively growing, continue to feed it. So if you're still out there mowing a couple times a week, continue to feed it fertilizer, not any more than you normally would. Continue to feed the lawn, continue to mow it. And that's really the thing. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of pushing large amounts of nitrogen or trying to do a lot of things to try and get the grass to continue growing and continue to be green when it's trying to go dormant or trying to check out. I haven't looked at the weather in New Jersey to know what you guys are dealing with as far as temps go, if you've gotten snow or anything as yet. But I would say just continue your normal program. Like if you're normally fertilizing this time of year, and again, if the grass is still actively growing, you're gonna know it's actively growing because by the fact that you still have to mow it every week. If that's the case, continue that, right? And when it begins to check out, when it begins to slow down, when it starts to look like this, then let it do what it's going to do. In other words, could I throw a bunch of nitrogen and start watering the lawn a lot and try and get some of the color to come back? Maybe, but I'd cause a lot of. I would be the juice wouldn't be worth the squeeze. The little bit of color that I might get from doing that is only going to lead to problems in the springtime. So, as far as thing one, I would say just continue feeding it, continue mowing it. That's going to be your best bet. As far as biostimulants go, what biostimulants are a way to improve the efficiency of the microbial activity in the soil. If you think about the way like fertilizer works, right? You take that big bag of granular fertilizer, you throw it, you apply it to the lawn in the correct ratios, and until it actually gets down in the soil and the microbes begin breaking it down, it's not in a form that's readily available for use by the grass. So the idea of biostimulants is that there's a couple of things. One, they prevent, if you're using a biostimulant that has biochar in it, it prevents a lot of the fertilizer that we apply from leaching out of the soil. Leaching is just like a technical term for the fertilizer eventually working its way down the soil profile to where it can't be used anymore. Pretty much you're wasting it. So if you're using a biostimulant, kind of like I will show you, Carbon Pro G or Essential G, anything that has biochar in it, you can think of this product as having, it's a granular, as having like little pockets that will absorb water, will absorb nutrient, and because it tends to sit lower or just beneath the surface of the soil, it hangs on to nutrients that might be otherwise lost. In addition, a lot of the biostimulants that will contain kelp products, they'll contain micronized carbon. They contain a bunch of different types of food that, again, the whole purpose is to help improve microbial activity. So you think about it. If you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of soil testing and creating the best soil possible. Reason for that is that great grass is a byproduct of great soil. And biostimulants are another tool, in addition to fertilizing properly, ensuring your soil pH is where it needs to be. They're another tool to help you create great soil. The nice thing about a granular biostimulant like Essential G is that as long as the ground isn't frozen, which is not going to be the case for you in New Jersey, like in Georgia it is, but for you it's probably not going to be the case, is you can literally apply this year round. So even when the grass checks out, you can still apply this. Like I apply this every single month. Like this month, I've already done my application. I'll do another application maybe this weekend for November. So as long as the ground isn't frozen, you can apply this because what you're applying again is biochar, compost, some silica. It's got some reclaimed coffee grounds in it in the granular form. Now the liquid forms of biostimulants, which we also carry from Miramichi Green, you've got a Release Zero, a kelp product, and then a microbial food in Biospectrum. These you could apply now if you wanted to as well, but I don't. I apply these whenever the grass is growing because I tend to use Release Zero, NutriKelp, and Biospectrum along with my liquid fertilizer. So the granular I apply year round, and then the liquids I apply whenever the lawn is actively growing. Can you apply it now? Yes, absolutely. There's nothing, you're not going to hurt anything by doing that. But I just tend not to, because I'm already doing Essential G, and I have a concoction that I like to use where I'm mixing these products along with my fertilizer of choice, to apply this to my lawn. So it's really your call. If you're looking for the liquids, we do have them in a kit that saves you a little bit of money here. This is the carbon kit that comes with in two different versions. One is just Release Zero, NutriKelp, and the BioSpectrum, which is good for people that already have a liquid fertilizer that they like to use. So in this case, if you just went for this one here, the 5,000 or 10,000 square foot version, that's going to allow you to mix Turfplex or whatever fertilizer you may like that's a liquid fert. You can mix it along with this, and it's going to work just great. If you don't want to do that, and you just want to use 901C, which is it's essentially Release Zero with 9% nitrogen, 1% potassium in it. So if you just want to use Miramichi Green's fertilizer, you could go with this kit that contains a little bit of fertilizer in it. So two different options depending on the way you like to deal with your lawn. I'm a huge fan of biostimulants, CK. I mean, I think it's one of the best things you can do for your soil, and then by extension your grass. But realize that it's something that is like a long game type thing, right? So biochar, compost, like those types of things do improve soil quality, but it's not like they're not going to have the same effect as, say, a fertilizer is. So in other words, let's say we were in April, right? And you were to go and you were to apply Essential G to your lawn. It's not like you're going to see a color response or a green up response like you would if you applied a nitrogen and iron fertilizer. They're completely different products. But they're a great addition to any lawn care program. Again, I started using Carbon Pro G and then Essential G in July of the summer of 2020, and I haven't looked back. Every month since then, my lawn has gotten that. So great stuff. It's something that I'd highly recommend incorporating into your lawn care program. There's really no negative to it. There's only upsides. Great question, sir. And let me know if I can help with anything else. On the subject, while I got you here, TK, on the subject of cool season, guys, I've been getting emails from you guys saying, you got your herbicide kit for warm season grass, the Celsius Certainty kit, the one I always talk about. Actually, I got to show you guys. It's easier. It is easier to show than tell. So you guys know I've always done the Celsius Certainty and then the Surfactant and Turfmark kit put all together in a kit that I consider to be the best overall all-around kit or herbicide combination for warm season grass. You guys asked for that for cool season grass, and so what we've done is we've now got Tenacity Sedgehammer. So this gets you some coverage of a lot of your sedges in cool season grass. Tenacity is a great broad spectrum herbicide for cool season lawns, along with a surfactant and marker dye, again, in a kit. So you've got, and to make it easy, so this way I had to redo these graphics. I didn't want anyone to buy the wrong thing. So you'll see very clearly, this is for warm season grass, this one's for cool season grass. So warm season grass, you get Celsius, Certainty, and surfactant and marker dye. Cool season grass, you get Tenacity, Sedgehammer, and again, the same surfactant and marker dye. So both cool season and warm season people, you're now covered. Stop sending me emails saying that, oh, you didn't only care about warm season folks. What's up with us? So I got you guys covered now. So, and Tenacity is also obviously available. The nice thing about this is that if you guys saw how Tenacity used to be before, you used to have to, I'll switch over. You used to come in a bottle like this, right? It also came with like a plunger, like type syringe, where you had to draw the stuff out, draw the herbicide out, which was okay. But kind of where Syngenta's going to for the DIY community, for people that have smaller properties, and just really just from a convenience standpoint, you get the same 8 ounces, but now they've got a measuring cup built into the bottle. So the Tenacity that we carry, this is what you'll get if you were to order from us. I mean, I think there's other people that probably have it as well, but this is the new, like, if you get Tenacity now, this is what you're going to get. So the nice thing is you get the same product, but now handy, a very convenient measuring cup built into the bottle. Again, you don't have to worry about losing a syringe because it's built in. So there you go. Thanks for the question, TK. I really do appreciate it. And if you guys have any other questions, comments, definitely let me know. All right, next up, we got Mr. Joel Hernandez. Joel Hernandez, what question do you have, Joel? He says, hey, Ron, happy Friday. Glad I made it to the live stream. I'm glad you're here. Question, I recently overseeded my Bermuda with perennial rye, and since I've been watering more, I now have Biggs nutsedge issues. What can I do? Okay, so you've got Bermuda and you overseed it with ryegrass. So in your case, normally my answer, if it were just Bermuda, would be to use certainty. But since you've got rye, we don't want to do that because the certainty will put a big ouchie on your ryegrass. So what you can go with is a product like this, like Sedgehammer. So this we carry in the store, again, right under, same area, right next to Tenacity. The nice thing about Sedgehammer is this is for both warm and cool season grass. I like certainty better as a warm season herbicide. It kills POA, it just kills more stuff. As far as a herbicide to target just sedges in general, I believe certainty to be a better product, but it's only really safe for warm season grass. In your case now, where you've got a blend of Bermuda and rye, and really it's really more the ryegrass because you want that to stay nice. Sedgehammer is what you're going to want to go with. Again, we have that in stock at the golf course lawn store, so feel free to check that out if you wanna go after sedges. I would definitely mix some surfactant along with it, and then you should be good to go. So hope that helps, sir. Sedgehammer, a little bit of marker dye, a little bit of surfactant, and you're good to go. That's a good combination. That's a good option for your cool season grass. Again, if we're Bermuda, I'd say certainty, but since we're talking about ryegrass, we don't want to ruin your very carefully cultivated perennial ryegrass overseed, right? We don't want to do that. Hope that helps, sir. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments down below and I'll get back to you. All right, next up we got Papa Moslow in the house saying, hey Ron, and hello everyone. What's going on, Papa Moslow? Hope you're doing well, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. And then Trilla says, hey Ron, happy Friday, everyone. It feels like more than a week since the last live stream. It does, man. Here's the thing. I missed you guys. When I was out there on the floor, like literally when we were about to start, because the black belt test starts at 6, the physical starts right around 6 p.m., just before 6, right? So another proctor did the warm-ups, and when it was about my turn to get on the floor and have put the candidates through like kick line drills and this kind of stuff, I looked at my watch and I was like, man, it was like 6:47. I said, man, we're close. I said, but like 10 more minutes, I'd be kicking off now. So yeah, I definitely missed you guys. I missed the live stream. I know this time of year there's not as much interest in grass, but I still like hanging out with you guys. And to your point, Tutrilla, it does seem a bit longer than 2 weeks, even though it is 2 weeks to the day. It is 2 weeks to the day. All right, Stan G's in the house saying happy Friday. What's going on, Stan? And then we got Devin in the house. Devin, is your house done yet, man? We got to get you back on here. Now is a good time of year. It's, things have hopefully slowed down a little bit for you guys on the course. We got to get you back on. But I know you're, doing like house construction and this kind of thing. So whenever you can find time in your oh so busy schedule, would love to have you on the live stream again. He says, hey, Ron, looking forward to some good turf talk. I will do my best not to disappoint, sir. I'll do my best to not disappoint. All right, next up is John Dugan. He says 20s this morning, wind chill 14. I take 40s. Dude, where do you? That sounds horrible. Sounds terrible. It's funny. A lot of people say, New York, great city to live in, or up north, it's like great weather, great place to live. And I'm thinking, man, it gets way too cold during the wintertime. I can't imagine. It's only October, about to be November, and you're already getting 20s. That's no good. It's no bueno. Here in Georgia, we will get, if we're very unfortunate, we'll get like a 2, maybe 3 week period in December, late December, early January, where we may have like the lows dip into the 20s, but it's not like an extended thing. I say 3 weeks. It's really not even that long. It's only a couple of weeks. So that's one nice thing about the weather here, that our winters are relatively mild. It's just wait a couple of weeks and it'll change. Some days there's a big enough temperature swing. You'll have days when it'll be, lows in the 20s and the highs will still get into the low 50s, high 40s, low 50s. So it's relatively mild winters. So yeah, definitely not the 14s. That would be absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. And you know what, John, not to get on my soapbox here, but I'm gonna do it for a second. All you guys are saying, oh, you should totally overseed your lawn and put like ryegrass down and it'd be awesome. Your lawn will be green, you'll dominate the neighborhood. Everyone will be like, woo, so awesome. Yes. But now imagine if we got like a taste of what John got, where say even in the 30s, it's not fun to be outside mowing in the 30s. Not to me anyway. So all the more reason why I feel good about my decision not to overseed my lawn. Not this year, maybe next year. We'll see. All right, next up is Mr. Fazbear99. Says, hey, Ron, I sent you an email with pictures about a weed that is growing in my Southern California lawn. We just wanted to know what it was. Thanks. Let me see. Do I have a picture? Let me see what I have here. That looks kind of like Kalinga. Let me see if I can show you guys. Yep, I think I can bring that up here. It looks kind of Kalinga-ish. I might be wrong here, but well, we can share it with the gallery, and you guys can all weigh in. It looks like Kalinga that's trying to. Yeah, it looks like that looks kind of like Kalinga to me. Yeah, so we'll show you guys here. So here's picture one from Mr. Fazbear. It's not a great picture. Looks like that's a dead one. And then here's picture two, which we'll see if this one is better. A little bit closer up. Yeah, the little yellow like flowers on it looks. I mean, they can't see really close here in the picture, but it looks like it could be Kalinga to me. Fazbear. It looks that's. I mean, without seeing it like really close from the other picture, this one looks like dead. Looks like dead Kalinga possibly, but the yellowish in there looks like it could be that. But yeah, anyone else that's here, feel free to weigh in. That's what I believe it is. If you have Bermuda, I'm not sure what kind of grass you have. It looks like Bermuda. If you have Bermuda and it is Kalinga, which again, is what it looks like. A good option for that is Certainty. You could use Sedgehammer, but this is if you have a warm season grass, which sounds like what you have. Certainty is in my opinion the best product for sedges, any kind of sedge. But it's only for warm season grass. You won't want to use Certainty on a cool season lawn. So. I definitely hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, let me know. Let me know. All right, next up is Devin. He says, we got 5 inches of snow yesterday. That sounds horrible, man. You guys need to move. I mean, here's the thing. I've never been skiing. And again, I am a bad person to ask about like cold weather because I've never been skiing. It doesn't make sense to me, again, me being an island guy, why you would leave a perfectly warm house to put 2 sticks on, potentially risk knee injury, and go out in the cold. But people that have done it say it's a ton of fun, but I'm just a wimp. I don't like cold weather. All right, next up is Brick Rehab. He says, going out to kill some St. Augustine now or wait till the spring? I'm going to resod that section. So you want to get rid of St. Augustine now, wait till the spring. Where are you, Brick Rehab, and what are you replacing the St. Augustine with? Like if you are, let's say I don't think you're in Georgia, but let's say you're in like Florida, and you want to get rid of the St. Aug and put Bermuda in. I'm just because you didn't tell me what you're doing, but I'm assuming that's the case. Why wait till the spring? I mean, kill it now and put the Bermuda sod in. Like ideally, the best time for it to really root in quickly and begin taking off, obviously, is the springtime. But you can sod Bermuda pretty much any time of year if you live somewhere where the weather is relatively mild. So I'm assuming you're not like in New Jersey or something like that. Again, lawns around here when they're building up this neighborhood got sodded. Whenever the house was done, the sod went down. My lawn, the one you guys see, like the one I make all the videos on, was sodded in December, right? Like right in the middle of winter. It rooted in just fine and grew in just fine. So if you're somewhere where the St. Augustine is still growing, then I would, unless there's a reason why you want to wait till the spring, I would kill it off and I'd do the sod. I would put the sod down. There's not really there's not a whole lot of reason to wait. Again, I'm making a lot of assumptions here that you're going to get rid of the St. Augustine and you're going to be sodding like Bermuda or something, right? If that's the case, and I'm assuming you're potentially in Florida, if that's the case, I would. There's still time. I would do it now because especially since the weather down there is a lot warmer than what we have here in Georgia. Hope that helps, sir. And if you want to drop in any more details that'll help me answer the question better, feel free to do that. All right, so we got our first super chat of the evening. Thank you so much, Cedric. I really do appreciate it.
Super chat received.
He says, Big Ron, if you could have done anything different this past season regarding the lawn, products, or techniques, what would you have done differently? Could have done anything differently this year? Products, techniques, what would I have done differently? I'm pretty happy with the way things went this year. I would have gotten the outlet sooner. Does that count? I would have gotten the outlet sooner because I'm really excited to see how the lawn does when I'm just using that from the beginning of the year all the way on. That is something I would have liked to do. What would I have done differently? If I could have done, tell you what else. If I could have done the top dress, like the top dress when I had Sandman come in and do it. If I could have done that earlier in the season, so like early July instead of the end of July, that's something I would have done differently. As far as products, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with the results I got from the Carbon Kit 901C and Nutrizol. That was really good. The idea of the things that we changed up this year as far as doing the split applications of growth regulator, happy with the way that worked. And the fungicide program also worked really well. And the insecticide program worked really well. So overall, there's not a ton that I would really change. I'm trying to think of this. I mean, outside of like cultural practice, other things like top dressing and getting the mower sooner in the season, that's about it really. Like I would have liked to have the outlet whenever I scalped the lawn last spring. Not that I would have scalped with it, but I could have taken the true cut out, scalped the entire lawn, made a big mess with it, and then for cleanup, I could have put the turf rake on and just kind of go over the entire lawn and pick up all the debris nice and easy. So that would have been nice. But yeah, products. I think I'm good, man. There's not a ton that I would have changed thinking about it. I don't know. I'll have to give it some more thought, but nothing really jumps out at me just yet. Good question though. Good question. All right, and then to little follow up, Brick Rehab says North Texas, either Bermuda or creeping zoysia. I don't know what creeping zoysia is, but if it's Bermuda, you can go for it, man. It's not gonna it's your call. It's your call. If you want to be super conservative, wait till spring. If it's not gonna bug you, wait till springtime. Here's the thing: even if you put the Bermuda in now, it's gonna grow for a little while and then it's gonna check out. So it's not like you're killing the St. Augustine. You're gonna get a green lawn that's gonna be green for any period of time. So if you're fine with waiting, you can absolutely do that. But I would bet on Bermuda being just fine if you were to put the sod in. All right, next up is NMS Auditor. He says, and now we wait. Unless you have lots and lots of trees that surround your property, then it's leaf cleanup for a few months. Well, I mean, whose fault is that? I mean, you guys are all about, I want trees, tree life. I want to have like my nice mulch beds around my trees and this kind of thing. Yeah, I don't have that. I am lacking that nice addition to my landscape. We'll just say that because anytime any of my friends come by, they're always like, "Man, your lawn would look really nice." They sit there on the back porch, look at the lawn, and say, "Lawn's really nice. You know what the back lawn needs? It needs like a pool or maybe a couple of trees or out there by the rock. Put a big tree in about there. It'd be really nice and scenic and look really pretty." And me, I just look at them and I say, "Yeah, but then I got an edge around it, and then trees are gonna kill my grass." And it's just no, I can't do it. But I get it, NMS Otter. For you guys that have trees in your lawn, it is a lot of work this time of year. And again, my buddy that has his landscaping business, he even conveyed to me the same thing. This time of year is really like the really labor intensive time of year for them. But could you imagine if I had big trees and having to get out there with a blower and clean all that up? It'd be hassle, huge hassle. All right, let's see here. Josh Bronco says, "Do you have any thoughts on keeping wild onions away?" That's a good one, Josh. I don't know. I've not. It's not something I've really dealt with. That I really deal with in my lawn. I don't know if that's a good one. I don't know if off the top of my head if any of the pre-emergents, if prodiamine or dithiopium or any of the other ones will keep those away. I don't really have them in my lawn. And my neighbor does, so I assume that pre-emergents are doing something for that. But I've never actually looked on the label for wild onions to see if that is on there, because literally the neighbor behind me that has the pool, like their lawn's got like wild onions like through it, and then my lawn has absolutely none. So I am because I've not sprayed anything that I'm aware of. In other words, I've never sprayed a herbicide to kill them or try and get rid of them. I'm assuming one of the pre-emergents that I'm using is taking care of that. So that's a good question. Let me get some note. Let me look into that, and that'll be a good question for me to answer next week, unless someone here in the chat chimes in and says, "Yeah, this is what we'll do." It. But that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, so I will get you an answer next week. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Tutrilla. He says, "Is it okay to use up my last bit of Caravan G for my fungicide app, even though I may not need the insecticide?" It's your call. I am not a huge fan, Tutrilla, of doing that because I really don't like putting insecticide down unless you actually need it, right? Like unless you're trying to either do a preventative or you are trying to get rid of an active infestation like grubs in your lawn or something like that. Not a huge fan of doing that. It's really your call. It's not going to hurt anything, but I'm not a fan of applying insecticides when they're not necessarily called for. I would really lean towards Headway. I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'm applying Headway, but then again, I get it. If you've already got Caravan and you want to use it, I get that. But here's the thing you could look at too. Another, let's look at this from this perspective. If you got headway instead and you applied just that, you'd be applying just a fungicide, which is, I think, is better unless you actually need insecticide this time of year. And the caravan that you have, you could always use that in May, June, the May, June timeframe next year as your fungicide app. You know what I mean? So I do like 2 fungicide apps in the spring, summer months, and then 2 in the fall. You could literally use Caravan, what you've got left over, assuming you have enough to do your entire lawn. You could save that and use that in May, June next year, which is going to get you your insecticide and your fungicide app, your preventive fungicide app, and you'll be applying it at a time when it actually makes sense. So it's really your call. It does mean you'd have to go out and get some headway or get some other fungicide, but that, if you're asking me what I would do, that is what I would do, because that's what I'm doing. I have Caravan, I've got headway, I've got access to all of them, and headway is what I'm applying this weekend. That's what I'm going to be doing on my lawn this time of year. So your call, but you asked me for my opinion, and I am an expert on my opinion. So that's my thoughts on the matter. I would save the Caravan until next year and just do headway this fall. And if you want headway, we have it in stock at the Golf Course Lawn Store. Guys, something else you guys have been asking for is the blog, our blog section. We've been working on building that out too. So if you go to the store and you go to blog, I try to get out a couple per month. Sometimes I don't always do that, but my goal is 2 per month, but doesn't always happen. So we've got one, the questions around getting rid of moss in your lawn. This is a recent one. And then another one here, a guide on winter lawn care. Winterizing is a topic that comes up a lot this time of year. So check that out. Again, it's at the Golf Course Lawn Store right here under the blog section. But we got some an article submitted by a reader that's over in the UK on British lawns. You got fertilizers to use in the fall, stuff on herbicides. So if you're a person that doesn't like video and prefers to read or just wants a reference, we've got a lot of good articles for you guys to check out here on the store under the blog section, completely free. So definitely feel free to take advantage of that. And it's something fun for me to do since I don't get to make a ton of videos this time of year and still produce some content for you guys to check out. So check out the blog on the store if you are so inclined. All right, next up is Grass Thief. Grass Thief says, "Hi Ron, over the winter, take a look at this product. Worm Power Turf watched some trials from Tennessee University. Looks promising for golf courses are using it. Root growth and allows us to spray weekly. It's called what? It's called Worm Power. Let me take a screenshot of that and I'll look into it. If the idea of it is to promote root growth, why would they call it Worm Power? It's not I almost thought it was like something that's designed to, I don't know why you would target earthworms, but that's what comes to my mind. Like it comes after, perhaps I would think some kind of insecticide versus something to help stimulate root growth based on the name, but I'll take a look at it. And you said you can apply it weekly or bi-weekly. Yeah, that's the thing. The cool thing, Grass Thief, kind of like the biostimulants, right? Like the Release Zero, your NutriKelp, the BioSpectrum. You can apply these weekly. If you look at the label, it says you can apply it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Really, the reason why I don't really push a lot of weekly applications is because it's not something that most people can resonate with. When I tell most people that you got to get out there if you really want a great looking lawn to mow your lawn twice a week, they already look at me like I have a third eye. And I find that a lot of the benefit that you get out of liquid apps, doing it every couple of weeks is a good, reasonable medium that doesn't make it become like a job. You know what I mean? Like I know some golf courses will do weekly apps, but between weekly, in other words, the difference between once a month and bi-weekly, like the benefits, like going from bi-weekly to weekly, it's not like it's twice as good, but there is a noticeable improvement in color, growth consistency. If you're talking about fertilizer, instead of doing one heavy app once a month, doing it every couple of weeks. When it comes to growth regulator, same thing. There is a noticeable improvement in like lack of tip burn and just overall the lawn just not coming out of regulation by doing it every couple of weeks. Could you do PGR apps weekly? You could. I guess you could like divide it by 4, but I don't know that the juice would be worth the squeeze. But there is that. I'll look into it, man. I'll definitely look into it. Maybe something we can chat about next week. I got a screenshot of it, so we will. I'll look into that after the show, and it can be a talking point for next week, which is good because I need stuff to talk about this time of year. All right, next up is Higgy Pop. He says, looking at your lawn, is it a consistent light brown? My lawn is looking more like like cheetah spots. It is mostly brown and it's peppered with green spots. Is that normal? I have Bermuda grass. Yep, completely normal. Completely normal. It's just your lawn's just going. It's not all going dormant all together. Like my front lawn, and if you guys want to see, I'll show you guys that tomorrow. I'll do like a YouTube story on mobile for you guys to see. And tomorrow you'll be able to see that. My front lawn, I've got a little bit of that. The back lawn just went, just fell off. Nice for the most part, pretty evenly. Out by where the tree used to be that got seeded with Princess 77, you can see that is fighting a little bit to go away. And near the patio, same thing. One, because of warmth near the patio, but also because of the different grass type there. That's holding on a little bit longer. But the front lawn, my front lawn has some of what you are describing, Higgy Pop. Completely normal, nothing to worry about. In a few weeks, if we get like another cold snap or just the trend continues to go cooler, it'll even out and it'll all go dormant and be nice and brown. My backyard looks like what you're thinking a dormant lawn should look like. My front lawn looks along the lines of what I'm imagining your lawn, what your lawn looks like. So yeah, nothing to worry about. Don't sweat it. All right, next up is Sunny Bermuda. It says, "Happy Friday." What's going on, Sunny? Hope you're doing well, sir. Hope all is good and well with you. And then next up, we got Nicholas Dorsey. He says, "Hey Ron, was great meeting you at the Turf Park party. I heard back from the county extension from UGA, and they determined that I have two hybrids in the yard: an older cultivar 328 and 419. Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of 428 or 328 rather. Which I guess it would make sense that it's older because it's 328 versus 419, right? So." But yeah, so I guess what's the plan then? Now that you have the two different cultivars in your lawn, I mean, do they look? Is it driving you crazy? He says they said I had great deep roots and rhizomes, but that would mean I would need to kill it off and cut at least 4 inches down before putting new sod in. And follow up. He says, they said it can be managed by doing things that make our lawn green. Start PGR at 75% green up, high fertility program, and iron every 2 to 4 weeks. But to the trained eye like us, we will always notice it. Yeah, and that's the case. That's you're always going to find that, Nicholas. I mean, could you go through and do a renovation and burn down the entire lawn and do like another Bermuda cultivar? Sure, you could. But the more I think about it, right, unless you are absolutely certain you're going to get rid of all of it, right, and it's kind of hard to get rid of Bermuda altogether. Let's say you go through all that trouble, you do the renovation, you take away like 4 inches of material, you put in 419 sod. There's nothing that says that some of that, or whatever side you decide to go with, right? There's nothing that says that some of that 328, that 328 is not going to try and get through. And then you're not going to necessarily be right back where you started, but it'll still be there. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I could see is this: if you decided you're going to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to do Bermuda anymore. I want to go to Zoysia. Then I could see an argument for that, because if you go through the same process of nuking the Bermuda lawn, removing the material, putting the zoysia down. Now, if any Bermuda grows through, you do have a selective herbicide like Fusilade, right, that you can use on your zoysia to get rid of the Bermuda, to kill the Bermuda off, and have your lawn look all the same, all one cultivar. But now you're going to zoysia instead of Bermuda. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, that makes sense. But to go through and redo the entire thing just to do, just to do another Bermuda, I mean, you can, but just be prepared that you might have a few patches here and there where it still comes back. So something to consider if before you go out and spend a bunch of time and or money redoing the lawn. Just something to think about. Like, I've considered doing Tahoma 31. Here lately, I've been thinking about Tahoma 31. I've also been thinking about doing zoysia, like maybe doing a zoysia lawn, which would be kind of cool. I'm thinking for the reasons that I'm talking about. That if any of my Bermuda came back, I could get rid of it. But the big thing that kind of keeps me away from that, it's not just the fact that I have to kill the Bermuda, get rid of it, get rid of some of the topsoil, all this kind of stuff. But also, I'd be like starting over from a standpoint of top dressing and everything. Like it's gonna be a couple of years of top dressing to get the lawn looking good again. I mean, lots of great content, but it's a ton of work, right? So I don't really know that if for me that the juice is worth the squeeze. Sounds like a lot of work for something that is that, to your point, you'll notice it. I'll notice it, but like 99% of people that walk by your lawn, they're not going to see the difference. And frankly, they're going to think, he's kind of crazy doing this, like redoing his lawn for little patches here and there. They're not going to, most people aren't going to notice it. All right. Next up is Tony Israel. He says, hey, Ron and company, just checking in from Midlands of South Carolina. My question is, does nutsedge go dormant in the winter months like Bermuda? I'm noticing it turn yellowish in tint. It's a good question. I don't know if it goes dormant, but it definitely it prefers wet and hotter weather. Like, I never have nutsedge in my lawn during the winter months. It's only, if anything, it's going to be POA. So I think with you seeing it checking out is kind of like what your Bermuda is doing. It's also checking out during the winter. As far as it going dormant and then coming back, in other words, the areas where I get nutsedge in my lawn, if I go look at them, I don't see like dormant nutsedge there. It's really once like April-ish time frame comes around, we start getting a lot of rain, it starts warming up. The areas where the lawn drains, where a lot of water just runs past it, that's where if I get any little nutsedge clumps will come up there, and I'll smack them with certainty, and then that's dealt with. But as far as it going dormant in the sense like how Bermuda does, and I don't have any evidence to support that. It might happen, but I've never seen it in my lawn. So hope that helps, sir. All right, next up is Cedric. Cedric says, hey, Big Ron, I have been on the Ron Henry train for 4 seasons now. Can you give us a sneak peek of any products or technique coming for next season? For next season, okay, so some of the things I already told you guys about. We got the new kit, right? But that's not going to help you because you have warm season grass. We got the Tenacity and Sedgehammer now in the store, and we have that in the kit. There are a couple of products that are planned for next year. The decision was made to not do any runs of them this late in the season because you guys aren't working on your lawns right now, and it doesn't make sense to make a bunch of product and then just have it sitting on the shelf and not be able to sell it this time of year. So there are going to be some new product offerings if all goes to plan, which that the way things are, things are always subject to change. But at this point, there are going to be some new products next year. Not going to say what they are just yet. A couple of them are ready, but they're just not going to run right now because it doesn't make sense to do that this time of year. As far as techniques, what's going to change next year? Not a ton, not a whole lot. I'm still going to scalp the lawn. I'm going to do my pre-scalp like I normally do in like early February, early to mid February, and then do another scalp like the cleanup late February, early March. And then I'm gonna do my soil test. I'm gonna start feeding the lawn. I'm gonna start mowing it, and it's just I'm gonna let the lawn do what it do. You know what I mean? So there's not a ton that I can see at this point really changing. Again, there are gonna be some new product offerings, and you're just gonna have to stay tuned to the channel to know what those are. The Academy members will likely learn about it maybe a little bit before anyone else, but it's not, when I say a little bit before anyone else, maybe a week or so before, because literally if I, once they know, eventually it might leak out. So it's not like I'm trying to keep a big secret, but right now there's no point of even talking about it because you can't get it yet. But yeah, but as far as techniques, it's going to be pretty similar to this past year, man. It's going to be pretty similar to this past year because again, I like the results I get. I think it's a good balance between not being too crazy as far as like inputs and still getting good results. So yeah, I don't see a whole lot of reason to change things up too much at this point. All right, next up is G Free. He says, hey, Ron and Stripe Action Gang, hit the like button. Thank you for that, G Free. I appreciate it. We got 77 people in here, guys. Now, I realize it's a little bit early, but if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, we only got 37 likes. Surely we can do better than that. Sure, we can do better than that. It doesn't cost you guys anything. If I tell you guys to go to the store and get yourself like some Essential G, that costs you money. The like button, all it takes is a nice smooth mouse movement over the like button, hover it there for a second, and then a nice tap, and that's it. If you're in a laptop, you can tap on your trackpad, whatever you want to do. But yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind, give me some likes. It sends good vibes to the algorithm. It's a great way to support the channel, and doesn't cost you anything. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would do that. Next up is DH Designs and Paintings. It says, good evening, Ron. My annual rye is finally showing up. Boy, we need some rain here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. We do, man. We haven't had rain for, I want to say it's got to be close to a month now, right? I mean, any measurable amounts. There's nothing really to talk about, and there's not really any rain in the forecast that I'm aware of. So it's not good. It's not good. Again, between the weather getting cooler and then no rain, the grass has just been checked out. It's like we're done. We are we are finished for this year. But you never know, because last year in December it got warm again, warm for Georgia. Like I want to say last year in December, we got a period of a couple of weeks there where it got into the high 60s, and I actually saw parts of the lawn coming out, like reversing, starting to come out of dormancy a little bit, and then when it went back to its normal trending as far as cold weather, it checked out again. But I mean, we really need rain and we need warmer weather, and really right now I think it's more the rain, because it has been cool, but it's as far as the lawn being dormant this soon, like this time last year, my lawn was still relatively largely green. So it's the lack of water is really, really putting a hurting on us. And I haven't been running irrigation, so there's that, right? But I'm glad that your ryegrass is coming in. You got to send pictures, man. You got to send me a picture of how your rye overseed is doing, and definitely make sure you water it. Take care of the of your ryegrass. All right, next up is TK. It's a good question. He says, what is your process for winterizing your equipment? It's a great question. Okay, so what I do is in both the True Cut and the Greensmaster, whenever I am, and I've already done this with the Greensmaster, I haven't done with the True Cut yet, is for the last mow, I will run ethanol-free gas in it. So there's a lot of people who say, you should some people only run ethanol-free gas in their mowers all season long. I don't do that because I run my mower so much that I don't feel like paying like over, well, $3 a gallon is actually pretty cheap now. I don't feel like paying closer to $4 a gallon for gas for the mower when I'm going through it so quickly. Like it's not sitting in the mower. It's not gonna be sitting there to where it can gum up the fuel system or track water and this kind of stuff. So throughout the normal season, when I'm like, from April all the way through to like now, I run just standard 87, like the same stuff you put in your car, same stuff I run in my mowers. When I get to like this time of year where we're getting done, or we're gonna put the equipment up, I'll run the last tank. I'll make sure it's just ethanol-free gas. So that way, if there's any gas that stays in the tank, that is not going to attract a bunch of moisture or anything like that into the fuel system. I also will the Greensmaster. I'm going to get it sharpened because I have the True Cut for scalping in the spring. So I'm not really. So I will get the Greensmaster all sharpened up, have it all sweet and ready to go, and then Then what I tend to do is I take a light coat of WD-40 and I'll spray the reel and spray the bed knife, and then that's it. I mean, they sit indoors, and I don't do anything else. And there's some people that will wrap the mower in the mower in plastic and this kind of thing. I don't do any of that. I just for the mowers that I'm not going to be using for scalping in the spring, which the True Cuts are on that duty, I just make sure they're nice and sharp before I put them up, put a little bit of oil on them, and that's it. For the Owlet, there's not a whole lot to do at all. Literally, it just got sharpened. So that's done, and what I'll do is I'm probably gonna mow this weekend, and once I'm done with that, I'll just wipe it off, blow it off, and then put it away. Hit all my Zerg fittings, grease it, give it, hit all my grease points, and then call it good. So for the electric mower, there's not a whole lot to really do. For the gas mowers, there's not really a whole lot to do either. It's just putting ethanol-free gas in it when I'm done. For the string trimmer, I don't really do anything with that because it uses that mix, like the 2-cycle mix. Whatever's in there stays in there, and in that I do. And the small tank that I have separate for that, I do run ethanol-free gas mixed with the oil in that one, and that just whatever's in there just sits in there. And in the spring, I'll change a spark plug, and that's it. I don't, the still doesn't really need a whole lot of maintenance. So that's about it, man. It's pretty simple. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I do. No, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I will say this. Yeah, one other thing. The True Cut. I do put a nice good coat of chain lube on it once I'm done with it for the season. So once I'm done, when I fill it up and I put ethanol free in it, and I put it up, I'll also lube the chain with some motorcycle, like some chain lube, and then I'm done. So again, nothing really special. The most important thing I'd say, TK, is just if you can, put ethanol-free gas in the mower if you're going to put it up. It's not a night and day. It's not like a make or break thing if you don't do that, but it's a good idea. So hope that helps, sir. Next up is Dwayne's World. Dwayne's World. He says, hello, Ron. Happy Friday. Hope all is well with you and your part of the world, sir. Hope you had a great weekend, although I'm sure you had a lot going on. I did have a lot going on. And you know what, Dwayne? I'm going to see if I can find that picture you sent me. And I'm going to show everybody. Actually, you know what? Actually, I'm not, because you didn't actually tell me if I can share that. So let me, I'll download the picture, but then I'll ask you here. I'll ask you here if I can share it or not, because I'm not sure if you want to share that on your. I know you have your YouTube channel, so I don't want to steal your thunder if you got plans to reveal that. I haven't seen on your channel yet if you got plans to tell everyone or show everyone your new toy. But I'm just gonna say this, man, is that you have more equipment acquisition syndrome than I do. I'll leave it at that. So yeah, I says, yeah, I have another comment coming. You can show it. So Dwayne, if you wouldn't mind, the image that I have from Facebook isn't that great. If you can email me a picture, the pictures you sent me in chat, I'll definitely show the people on the live stream what you sent to me. But email them to me, because the pictures that I'm getting off of Facebook are not they're gonna be too tiny. They're not gonna look good. I want to do it justice. So send me pictures in email, and I'll put them up here for for everyone to see your newest acquisition. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. All right. Next up is one. I can't say your name. One sir mind. What's something in your mind? Okay. He says, hey. He says, the city that I live in has been replacing the old sewer lines, so my yard was totally dug up. I'm in North Carolina, and it's too late to seed centipede grass. Should I cover it with something? That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't. You know what I might do? I might just leave it. I might just leave it alone. Sigh your mind. I mean, you're right that if you try and seed centipede this time of year, if it does go in, it's, the cold weather might kill it. But I don't know that I would also, get like a blanket or like a tarp and cover the area. I don't know that I would really do that, because if anything, as far as giving the centipede that's surrounding the area a chance to spread into that area, like, that's not going to happen if it's covered. If you don't care whether it works well or not, and I've never priced centipede grass seed, so I have no idea how expensive it is. But if you want to give it a go, you want to put some down and see some of it grows in, and maybe by some you get lucky and some of it actually takes, you could try doing that. But I don't know that I would actually cover the area. If anything, I would leave it open and give the grass that's surrounding the area that they dug up a chance to spread into that area. Worst case, if weeds pop up in that spot, you can always spray and get rid of them. But I'm trying to think of what upside you would really have to covering it versus leaving it open, and I can't really think of any, because if you cover it, yes, you're not going to get you're unlikely to get any weeds there. But then there's also zero chance that the grass that's in the area is going to spread into it. So for me, I would leave it exposed to sunlight. If you want to try putting a little bit of seed down, again, assuming centipede grass seed isn't too expensive, by all means. But I wouldn't cover it. I just don't think that it's that I don't know what problem you'd really be solving, other than maybe it would look less bad. But yeah. Yeah, for me, I would leave it open, sir. So hope that helps. All right, Edwin, thanks so much for that picture, sir. So Edwin, you got to tell us. So you sent me a picture of new sod. You didn't tell me what kind of sod it is. Was this the Tahoma that you did? So guys, this is a picture from Edwin. He just sent it here via email, and this is his sodding project. I think Edwin got the Tahoma. I think he got Tahoma 31, and you can see there near the street, it's greening up nicely, and then up there on the left, I don't know what's going on with it. It's not. Yeah, it is Tahoma. It is not quite coming in too nicely. So you can see here, we got a super chat from him. So I'll put that up on the screen now. Thanks so much for that, Edwin.
Super chat received.
He says, hey everyone, just a quick thank you. Tahoma is greening up and is rooted. Thanks for recommending Tahoma. I love it already. Sent you a picture to share. Getting tons of rain in the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now. See, you see how things turn around? There was a time of year when we were getting none. Like we were getting all the rainfall. You guys were not getting any of it. And now the tables have turned. You guys are getting plenty of rain and we're not getting any. And that does look good, man. I got, I don't know. I might, that doesn't look too bad. That, guys, that might be with one top dress could be looking really sweet. I may have to rethink this whole thing about, I'm creating a bunch of work for myself if I decide to do a reno, because that does look pretty sweet, and it does look like from this picture one solid top dress will get you most of the way there. Interesting. Well, thanks for sharing the picture, Edwin. Sod is looking great. Lawn is growing in really nicely. Keep up the great work, sir. And I'm glad that you're actually getting rain, unlike us right now. So it's funny. It's funny how things always turn around. You guys, the script is completely flipped as far as who's getting all the love from Mother Nature. And Dwayne has sent me some pictures here. Of course, being Dwayne, he's not gonna send just one. Sent me a bunch, but they're all really cool. So check out Dwayne's new toy, guys. Check out his new toy. I got to show you guys. He likes to buy mowers and fix them up. So this is picture 1. This is what he initially got. That's what he initially got. And I gotta put Cedric up as a show sponsor. So you can see, I'm gonna get Edwin off of here. You can see he's got a GM 1000. It's looking a little bit rough. It's seen better days. It's definitely seen better days. And then he shows what the real looked like before now. You can see that it was really rough, and then after a back lap and a good cleanup, it's looking much, much better. Very nice work, sir. Very nice work. And of course, he had to put it out on the lawn, give it a test drive. And in his message to me, he said, "All I can say is wow. All I can say is wow." Yeah, I mean, it's another level, right? I know you're Mr. McLean, man. I know you love your McLeans, but now you done moved up into the big leagues, and I'm sure you're going to absolutely love it. Mower looks awesome, man. Looks really clean. You did a great job restoring it, and we got to clap it up for that. Guys, we got to give you a clap up for that. And let me also get Cedric up here as the show sponsor, because I am lacking on that. You see, guys, I take a week off, and I'm not firing on all cylinders like I normally am. See? Can't take a break. So there you go. Cedric, your name in lights for what it is worth. Thank you so much again for the super chat, Edwin. And the mower looks awesome. Looks really, 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 really sweet, Dwayne. So look, I'm sure there's going to be lots of great content on it. Congrats. You have way more mowers than I do. And I'm trying to think of, as far as people that I know, I don't know of anybody that I know. I mean, I don't know you personally, but I don't know of any viewers that have more mowers than you do. You may have more mowers than the lawn tools do. Like the lawn tools have a lot of equipment. You've got more equipment than they do. I mean, I'm not saying it's a problem much, I'm not saying it's a problem, but I'm just saying, if there's, Mowers Anonymous, 12-step program, maybe at some point here, we're getting to the point where you gotta, just start looking into that, because, you definitely have gear acquisition syndrome. You got a lot of equipment, but of course I know you're going to tell me. You can write back and you're going to say something like, "I sold like a bunch of mowers to get this one, so like I offset it, and that's why." All right, so, all right. John Dugan says he's 1 mile outside of Fort Drum, New York. I have no idea where Fort Drum is, but you said New York, so that makes sense why it is so cold there. All right, Devin's in the house. He says, "We're still waiting for Windows. Then it should be smooth sailing." Nice, man. Well, it sounds like you're making good progress. I got to check out on Instagram if you guys have posted pictures of it. I know for a while there you guys were posting pics of it being being built up. So I got to check and see if you post anything new, because I need the house to get done, so then you can come back on the live stream and hang out and drop some knowledge with us, man. That's what I need. So I am interested in the house, obviously, but I am a little bit selfish that I want you to come back on the show. So there is that. All right, let's see here. Mike Harvey says, "Hey, Ron, I sprayed some POA with certainty 2 weeks ago. Seems to have had no effect. POA's still pretty green. Should I spray again or try something else? I think I'm going to have other spots as well." I would give it a little bit more time, Mike. I would give it a little bit more time. So what rate did you spray the POA with? What I can tell you that I've had really good results with is if you do 2 gallons of water and 3 of the small scoops, that rate works. Like, I've gotten a really good response against POA using that rate. You can go heavier with 2 gallons of water and a big scoop, a big and then 1 small. That's a bit heavier rate. But 3 scoops, 3 small scoops, and by that I mean, I can actually show you here. So you guys, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, with Certainty, it comes with a measuring scoop for doing your for measuring out. So typically, what I tend to do, both in the video and man, my fingers are ashy, is 3 of these, 3 of the small ones with 2 gallons of water. That's a good rate along with surfactant for Certainty. And then if you, in his case, if he's not getting a result, I say give it a little more time, Mike. But if not, you could always move up to this guy with 2 gallons of water and then a small. And that's a bit stronger rate, bit heavier rate. But you definitely should see something then. But I think just give it a bit more time. Give it a bit more time, and because the thing with Certainty you find, Mike, is that it starts kind of like with Celsius. It starts off, you'll apply it, you'll spray it, and then for the first 10 days, unless it's really hot out. If it's very hot, again, sedges, you'll see the results sooner. But typically for the first week to 10 days, you don't really see much of anything. And then once it begins to discolor and ramp up, it works really quickly. It begins to die. In other words, it's going to go from green to dead, or it's going to go from discolored to dead relatively quickly once it starts to turn. And with 2 weeks, you're about that window when it should start happening. If you don't, if like another week goes by and you're still not seeing anything, you could absolutely apply it again. But I'm thinking that you should see results, especially if you used a surfactant along with this. It should produce a good result. Again, I've never not gotten good results with Certainty as far as POA and also with sedges. It's this past like fun fact, this past spring, my neighbor, not Alex, the other neighbor, like his lawn was a salad bowl. So I did Celsius, Certainty, and pre-emergence this spring, and I didn't even use surfactant with it because I really wanted the pre-emergent to. I focus to get the pre-emergent down, and even without pre-emergent, it was excellent. It was devastating against the POA, but again, it took a while. It wasn't like in the first week or so you saw results, especially with it being cooler. It took really around 2 weeks. Around now is when you'd see the color, the really, really nice deep green that POA has, began to fade, and then it really ramped up and began to die off. So I would say give it a bit more time, be a little bit more patient, and again, worst case, you can apply again, but you shouldn't have to. You really shouldn't have to do another app to see results. Again, assuming you mix it at the proper rates and you also used surfactant with it. So hope that that helps. It's funny. I'm getting pictures from all you guys now that are showing off, oh, your lawn's looking awesome, while my lawn is not. Like, here's a cool picture here that Mr. Robert Rainey sent in. His lawn is looking sweet, still looking nice, man. Look at that. That's clean, man. It's real clean. Stripe action is still on point. See, now, Robert, how your lawn looks right now, that is what I would expect out of my lawn for this time of year, if we actually had rainfall. But because we've had none, and I've been not watering it, and we've had cold weather, it's just completely checked out. But like how this looks, that is what I would expect to see this time of year, where it's not like quite summer, vibrant, neighbors asking you if your grass is fake green. It's not like quite on that level, but it still looks good. It still looks awesome, right? But twas not to be. It's not to be this year, unfortunately, man. Not happening, unfortunately. That's okay. I'm gonna pass the baton for you. You can carry the stripe action flag, and I will see you next spring, sir. All right, next up is Dwayne's World. He says, Ron, you always say there's life before a greens mower and life after a greens mower. Well, Dwayne's World is in life after now. Hit that applause button because the GM1000 now in the arsenal video will be out soon. I'll give you another clap, Dwayne. Why not? It's true. It is a fact, guys. I mean, going from I always say rotary to push reel, awesome. Push reel to powered reel, like your True Cuts, your McLean's, your California trimmers, good. But once you go to a drum, like a drum power or drum propelled reel mower, or even like a greens mower, then it's just another level. I mean, you wouldn't think that there'd be that much difference between a True Cut or a California trimmer and a Greensmaster, but there really is. It's an order of magnitude better as far as awesome goes. But but yeah, but as far, but then again, what you pay for in that is the lack of convenience, right? Like they're more of a pain to deal with in the sense of like moving them around and transporting them, and like parts is more expensive, maintenance is a little bit more expensive. But as far as if all you care about is the absolute best cut, it's really hard to beat a Greensmore. Kind of like a Formula One car, right? Formula One car would be terrible to live with every day. It's like a purpose-built machine designed to do one thing: go really fast and like lap as quickly as possible. Greensmower is designed to do one thing, and it does it really well, which is cut and like produce an even cut, even quality cut, and it does it better than pretty much anything else. I mean, my Owlet and my Greensmaster, 1600, of the two, I mean, they're really comparable. The Owlet produces better stripes because of the weight of it. But but as far as like the absolute best cut, the 11 blade Greensmaster is slightly better. Meaning that because I've actually done this before because I'm crazy. I've mowed the entire back lawn with the Owlet and it looked awesome. Like you guys saw the picture of it, looks great. And then I've gone over it with the Greensmaster just to see, and it does look a bit better. It does look, as far as like the smoothness of it and just looking like a pool table. I mean, it already looks really, really good. And again, you're really splitting hairs, but it's really hard to beat a Greensmaster, especially if you're running it with an 11 blade at a height that will, that you can actually get away with that. It's really next level. All right, next up is Mike Harvey. He says, should I do another pre-emergent application? I wouldn't, Mike. I wouldn't. No. So it's too early. If you did one in September, which like a month ago, I mean, the soonest I would do another pre-emergent app would be 3 to 4 months later. So really December, early January. I really wouldn't do another one. I mean, it's not something I would apply every month. I just wouldn't do that. It's too soon. Too soon. It's not really going to solve your problem. I mean, the weeds that you're dealing with now that you're having to treat are ones that that either one, the pre-emergent isn't effective against, or two, germinated prior to you putting pre-emergent down. And I think when you guys said last week that Pennant Magnum will do sedges, or will target sedges. But unless you're using something like that, then yeah, there's no reason to do it. The short answer is no, I wouldn't. All right, next up is Gary Kellett Jr. He says, Ron, what's the difference between Site One's Let's Go fertilizer versus Let's Go fertilizer sold at the big box stores? I do not know. I don't think I would imagine there's a big difference. You gotta remember, like Let's Go, for a lot of their products, like Carbon Pro G, a lot of their fertilizers, it's really white labeled, meaning like they have another, that's true of most products anyway, but I mean they have like a manufacturer make that for them, and they put like their formulation to their specs, and they put their label, their branding on it. I've never compared the Lesco that you have at like the big box stores versus the Lesco at what you have at Site One. But I don't imagine there's a huge difference. Perhaps, I mean, you have to look at the ingredients. You have to look at the labels to see the differences, Gary. If the labels are exactly the same, meaning like it's say a 24011, right? Something like that. At Site One, it's the exact same one at say one of the big box stores, and the labels are the same. It's the same product. I mean, it could be very well that Lesco is just trying to sell more fertilizer, because for the most part, Site One is really designed to be They cater towards professionals. They cater towards people that have lawn care businesses, landscaping businesses, or homeowners like you guys, ones that really know, like you like to use more professional grade products that actually know what they're talking about. That is their bread and butter. Whereas the big box stores are more designed for your consumer. So if they may have fertilizers that they sell to whoever, Home Depot, Walmart, or whoever, and that's just a way for them to just sell more product. I can't imagine that they would have a special formulation just for the big box stores versus what they have at the local Site One branches, because the people that shop at those places are completely different. People that shop at Home Depot are not the kind of people that shop at Site One, and vice versa. People that go and get their products at Site One typically don't buy the same product anyway at Home Depot. In other words, if you're buying your fertilizer at Site One, you're probably not buying your fertilizer at Home Depot. You see what I mean? So I imagine it's just them trying to increase the reach of their products just to get more sales. So, but check the way to know for sure is just check the label. Look at the label and see if it's the same set of ingredients. I imagine it's going to be pretty similar. Imagine it's going to be pretty similar. All right. Lavendi says, "Hey Ron, hope you're doing well. I am. Can't complain. It's a nice Friday." He says, "I have some kind of a rodent or animal digging up my yard." Ooh, he might be one of those. Might be one of that will shall not be named in your yard. Should I concentrate on putting something down to kill all the bugs? What do you recommend? Well, what you probably have, or you could, I mean, I haven't seen pictures of it, but if you had the problem that I had a situation where a mole decided he wanted to come and dig up the lawn, the front lawn, and he got handled. I'm just gonna say that. But yes, to answer your question, there's a multi pronged approach to take to getting rid of insects in your lawn. So let's say you are getting rid of moles in your lawn, assuming that's what you have. Thing one is, and you thing that a lot of people don't think about is if you're watering your lawn a whole lot, like moles prefer they gravitate towards lawns or soil where it's softer. They can burrow through it easier. So if you're overwatering, that's something to stop doing. Next, if you have insects, so like the their food source, grubs and other types of insects they eat, yes, like getting rid of that, using insecticide to get rid of that will help as well. And the third thing you can do is just start using things like traps and poison. So there's a couple that people have used that I've recommended. There's one called Tomcat that is pretty good, and there's also another one called Talprid that's also good. So I'll give you one of them here. Tomcat. Let's see here. Let's say at Lavendi. So this is a I should say Tomcat mole killer. Mole. So there's that. That's a good product that will that as a mole poison that will work well. But it typically takes multiple things, right? So again, if you're watering a ton of your lawn, which I can't imagine you're doing this time of year, if you are, like, back that off, get rid of their food source, so you can use an insecticide. If you're going to do that, if you have reason to believe you've got like a lot of grubs and other insects in your lawn, Acelepryn is a good choice for that. I like Acelepryn because it kills the stuff that you want gone, but doesn't harm like useful insects and invertebrates like earthworms. And then traps, and then traps and or poison is something you can do as well. You know what I mean? So it's a multi-pronged approach. So hopefully that helps, sir. Moles absolutely stink, dude. I've only had one, and I hope I never have to deal with another one again. It's a painful thing. It was not nice. And if you've not seen my video, and I'll actually show you the video of it, I'll link it here in the chat. You know, it's a painful thing. It's like almost like imagine like watching a dog come and like pee in all different spots to your lawn, but like way worse. Because if a dog does that, you don't even see the damage right away. Literally, this mole did this from like 6:30 in the morning until around 8:30, 9 o'clock, and literally dug a trench right in broad daylight across my lawn. And it was a very painful experience. I'm still not fully recovered from it. Just talking about it now, it's not good. It's not good, Lavendi. So I feel your pain. You know, I would absolutely work on getting rid of them. You don't want them to set up camp in your lawn to make your lawn the cool place to hang out. So let's get on that right away. And this video, while it's kind of funny to watch, it also has some good tips in there as far as how to get rid of them. It makes mention of Acelepryn, of insecticide, and also a mole poison that you can use as well. So check that out if you want a good laugh at my expense. Although at the time it was not funny, I gotta tell you. All right, next up is Tom V. He says, "Hey Ron, hope you're doing well. I'm noticing a powdery fungus or something in my Kentucky bluegrass under some of my trees in Chicago. Any tricks to treat this? I know it's late in the year though." It could be powdery mildew. Well, having a picture of it, I don't know for sure. And I want to say that Headway will take care of that. So yeah, if you've got it going on in your lawn now, Tom, let me go here and I'll cut over here and I'll show you. Go to the golf course lawn store, assuming you don't already have fungicide. Go to the fungicide section and then scroll down, and then this is what you're going to want to use. Headway. It's got azoxystrobin and propiconazole in it, and that should take care of your. It should arrest the spread anyway of what sounds like powdery mildew in your Kentucky bluegrass. This is what I would recommend going with. And no, it's not too late. I mean, if the fungus, if the powdery mildew is manifesting itself in your lawn, I would not just let it run rampant. I would treat it. And Headway is a good option for that. Sorry you're dealing with that, sir, but at least you have a plan to move forward and to hopefully make things better. All right, next up is Dwayne's World. He says, hey, Ron, is it safe to put down fungicides soon after overseeding? Any negative effects? What say you? I've never seen any research that says you can't apply a fungicide after overseeding. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any reason why it would negatively hurt an overseeding product like a project. Like I've read the headway label and I don't recall ever seeing anything there about affecting a seeding project. So I think you're good to go. I mean, do a little bit of research, but if you're asking me, I'm going to say you're going to be just fine. I'm going to say you're just fine. It shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem at all. I've never heard of like a fungicide, like people delaying or using a fungicide to either enhance or hurt a seeding project. So we'll do some digging into it, but I don't believe you should have a problem. I'll take a screenshot of that and we can talk about that next week. I'll take that as a talking point. How's that? All right, next up is Greg Leon. He says, hey, Ron, missed you last week. Missed you guys too. He says, will Celsius and certainty work still at our current temperatures here in Atlanta? It will. It's just going to be slower. It'll work. It's just going to work. It's going to take a little bit longer to get the effects. Yeah. So, I mean, if the weeds are actively growing, you can spray them with herbicides. The uptake and by extension, the results you're going to get from the herbicide work better when temps are warmer. Like in other words, if you were to go out and spray like nutsedge, I mean, I don't really have any, but let's use something as an example. If you were to go, you say you have nutsedge now, if you have nutsedge in your lawn now, if you were to spray some now, it's going to take longer to take effect than if you spray nutsedge in like June. Like in June, within 10 days, you're gonna see a noticeable difference in the results you get. It's still gonna work. It's just a little bit slower to work. So to answer your question, Greg, yes, you can. It's just going to take longer because really today, what are temps like today? Yeah, it's 58 degrees right now, right? So it's not like we are. It's 58 degrees now, and it was 69 degrees. Like the high today was 69. You know what I mean? So like, yes, it's still herbicides will still work in that temperature range. It's just going to be a bit slower than if you sprayed it when it's in the 80s. You know what I mean? So yeah, no problem at all with doing that. Robert, if memory serves me, Robert Rainey was using that combination to take care of some burrweed in his lawn. And he did it like in December and he got really good results with it. Now, granted, in December, we had like a warm snap where the temps were like how they are now, like, in the low, high 60s, low 70s in December, which definitely helped him get the results faster. But to answer your question, yes, you can still absolutely do it. Just realize that it's going to take longer for you to get for the weed to die off, but it'll still work. All right. Higgy Pop says, hit the like button. It's free. You're absolutely right. It is free. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to go to the store or do anything. It's a great way for you guys to support the channel and by extension, the live stream. Really would appreciate it. All right. Next up is Mr. Gary Kellett Jr. He says, Ron, I did a oops and put down the wrong application of 10-0-20, which was supposed to be my last application. Can I put down another 10-0-20 in November for cool season grass? Okay, so you left out a big part there, Gary. So I did an oops and I put down the wrong application of 10-0-20. Okay. Which is supposed to be your last application. Can I do another one? Okay, so I'm guessing you under-applied it. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm assuming you under-applied based on the way you're phrasing the question. If your grass is still growing, you should still feed it. You can still feed it. If in November the ground is covered in snow, then no, you shouldn't do that. If in November, the temps are in the 20s and the grass is starting to check out, then no, don't apply fertilizer to it. But if you live in a part of the country where in November it's 40s, 30s, 40s, and the grass is still, your cool season grass is still growing, then yes, absolutely, you can feed it. It depends on where you are in the country, what the weather is like there, and then if the grass is actively growing. So yes, like a good example, like Bermuda, I would not feed a Bermuda lawn with any measurable amount of nitrogen anyway this time of year if you live in Georgia. If you live in Tampa, you absolutely can feed Bermuda, right? Because it's still hot there. It's still the grass is still growing. People are still mowing it. So it depends on where you are. So if you're still out there mowing weekly, then yes, you can still absolutely fertilize the lawn. So hope that helps. And for your cool season grass, that's shouldn't be a problem at all. So, but again, I'm guessing that based on the way you're phrasing the question, that you under applied the 10, 0, 20 versus over applied, because you're asking about another application. So good stuff. All right, next up, we got a super chat from Mr. Robert Majoros. And see, Robert, it took like a year and a half, but I'm finally saying your name consistently better. Finally, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Super chat received.
Appreciate the super chat, sir. Thank you for all the love and support. I really, really do appreciate it. Thanks for that, sir. And then next up, we have Greg Lyon. He's back. He says, would you ever put calcium and magnesium down this time of year? A friend's lawn care company was putting that down for them, and I'm guessing we have those in most of our grinders that we put down. Yeah, so I have never. It's a good question, Greg. I've never applied a calcium specific product or a magnesium specific product, like or a product that is primarily magnesium. If I do look at my soil test results and I see that my magnesium levels are low, and I'm going to do a lime application, that's where I'll lean towards a dolomitic lime, because that has a higher percentage of magnesium in it. And as far as calcium, to your point, a lot of the fertilizers that we use tend to have some of that in there already. So no, the only way I can get a little bit more magnesium in my soil, if I need that, is through a lime application or through any of the other fertilizers. I don't specifically add those to my soil. I don't have a magnesium specific or a calcium specific product outside of dolomitic lime that I use on my lawn. He has a follow-up. He says, for bare areas, do you think I should plant annual rye so the roots can start adding more organic material in the soil until the Bermuda spreads over the spring? If you want to try it, you can. I mean, if the Bermuda's not growing in the area under the tree, or it's for your bare areas, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you want to put the rye down in just that spot, I guess you can, if you just want to have something to look at there. But it's going to look a bit weird, isn't it, Greg? I mean, if we think about that, if you have bare spots in your lawn and you plant ryegrass, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about this. I'm trying to think about the problem you're trying to solve. In other words, if you're trying to add organic material, I would not plant ryegrass to get organic material. If you want to add organic material, apply something like Essential G. Like that's a much more efficient way of doing it, and you don't create a problem for yourself in the springtime where you got to get rid of it so the Bermuda can spread and grow in. So if the problem you're trying to solve is more more organic material, I would not do it that way. I would use just compost or Essential G. Essential G is what I would go with. And but if you want to have your lawn green this time of year, then overseeding with ryegrass or putting ryegrass is an option. But for organic material addition, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I think because I think you're creating more work for yourself come springtime. So hope that helps. Or hopefully, if I'm understanding the question properly, I wouldn't do that. All right, Robert is up next. He says, hey y'all, I'm here, still holding on that green, still green with everything else around is brown. Yes, Robert, we saw. Yeah, you want me to show the picture again? Do you want to gloat? You want me to put it up here one more time for you? You got everyone, all of us here in Georgia and most parts of the country in the Southeast, where our lawns are brown and looking a lot like this. See how my lawn's looking? Nice and brown. Well, not nice, but it's brown and looking sickly and it's trying to go away. Not everyone is like that. Robert, who is, is Captain Awesome, Mr. He's that guy. He's that guy in the neighborhood. Now I realize, Robert, I'm learning more about you. He's that guy in the neighborhood. This is what his lawn looks like this time of year. I'm going to show it off because I am a bit jealous, I got to admit. I wish I had that nice green, that nice stripe action, and it does look solid, sir. I got to tell you, the nice thing is that it looks nice and even. I see a little bit of yellow there along the fence, but overall, looking very, very good. I would take it. Very nice. Keep the domination strong, sir. Keep the domination strong. At least you're carrying the flag for the rest of us. All right, next up is Dalen Krause. He says, hey, Ron, I'm excited for next spring to do my lawn renovation to Tahoma 31. Everyone's getting the Tahoma 31 train. The lawn tool started something, right? He says, I don't tell many people because they think I'm nuts since I already have the best lawn in my whole town. I'm doing it because, now here's the thing, dude, before I even read the second part, I know you're about to try and rationalize why we, like the 72 of us are here that in the live stream, we're the only ones that are going to understand. Everyone else is still going to think you're crazy. So you can explain it to us and we're going to understand. And we're going to be like, yeah, dude, totally makes complete sense. But I wouldn't tell your neighbors or trying to explain it to them because they're just not going to get it. All right. You're doing this because, oh, here we go. This is good. So I can save water through the summer, and of course, I want the lawn to look that much better. The Tahoma I have in a smaller area of the lawn, I get asked if it's turf all the time. So I get it. You're trying to do your part. It's your approach to a greener lawn, right? You're trying to cut back on having to put water in the lawn, reduce watering requirements, and let's just face it, you want to dominate harder, right? Because I mean, you know that while your neighbors are willing to maybe get on a fertilizer program, maybe they want to mow twice a week, but they're definitely not going to do. They're not going to go Dalen mode. They're not going to go rip the entire lawn out and put like Tahoma 31 down. And for that reason, you're always going to be a step up on them. But I get it. I'm going to go with the water and saving water during the summer, which is a legit reason for Tahoma 31. I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, man. A lot of you guys are really going. You got me thinking here, man. I wonder. I have to price it. I'm not sure I can even get it in my area. And if I price how much it's going to cost me, I'll probably be like, nope, not doing that. Not going to do that. We'll see. Think about it, because Tahoma does look kind of sweet. It does look kind of sweet. Lawn looks really nice, and could be a fun project, right? Cool content. All right. Well, next up is Edwin. He says, first of all, he had a super chat, but give him some extra here. He says, Tahoma's green and rooted up. And then the following part, he says, the spot is due to a tree stump that wasn't taken care of until the day after I saw it. So I had to wait till for the tree stump to be taken care of. Okay, so what he is saying is, if we look at, can I find it? This is the problem whenever I just take pictures from email because I don't have them labeled. Yes, so if you see there on the left side where I guess it's yellow or not as green, he's saying that spot is from a tree stump a little bit. Like the one, yeah, okay. I mean, it's kind of a big area for a tree stump, Edwin. Are you talking about the area that's like, oh, how can I describe it? So like if you look at where it turns green, from green to yellow, the area that is about from like that corner, maybe 4 feet from the corner, like to the left of the corner. Is that what you're talking about? Because there, that does look a little bit more yellow than the other spots. But overall, man, it actually looks really good. Again, I gotta tell you, I'm really excited to see how it comes in. Because I know looking at what the lawn tools did, it looks Tahoma is pretty sweet. It is pretty sweet. I just wish it wasn't going to be so much work for me to do it if I decided to go that route. All right, next up is Andrew Phillips. He's up next. He says, hey, Ron, temps in Texas are cooling down. Grass is still green. I got 2 inches of rain last week. Man, all you guys in Texas are like, we getting all kinds of rain. Haha. You guys in Georgia are now in a drought. Got 2 inches of rain last week and another 1.5 inches today. Yay for you. Soil temps are 58 degrees. One last cut this weekend. Thanks for the great season. Next year should be even better. Should be even better, sir. And yeah, I'm glad that you guys in Texas are getting rain. So you're getting your, what we got during the summertime or late, August time frame. You're getting it now, because right now we're very much in a drought. We're not getting anything. So glad to hear your lawn is still green, looking good. All right, next up is Dalen Krause. He says, other than R&R, is there a place that I can buy Greens Master 1600 parts? Yes, you can get them from Jerry Pate Company. So you are you'll get genuine Toro parts from going that route. It's going to be more expensive. So there's that. Depends on whether or not you want to get your reels and bed knives or other parts from R&R. You'll save some money. So the thing with I'll tell you this, and I've never used a reel from a Greensmaster reel from R&R, but I'll tell you, like the reel that's on the Greensmaster now, the new, I think they call it their Edge Guard or Edge series. I think it's Edge Guard series or Edge whatever. It's Edge something is what is the branding that Toro uses for I guess it's the new metallurgy that they're using in their reels. As far as it keeping an edge or staying sharp, like that mower was sharpened the beginning of this season by Jerry Pate, and it's still sharp now. It still cuts paper, and I mow with it. I've been using it like for a while there when I was when the outlet needed to get sharpened, and I had it. I was just waiting to do it like for about 6 weeks there. I was only mowing with the Greensmaster, and it's still razor sharp. So I don't know what where and what kind of what R&R is using for their reels, but and I don't know what the price difference is between them. I mean, I imagine the Jerry Pate, the Toro reel is going to be more expensive, but just something to keep in mind. I mean, for things like belts and like a lot of consumables, it might not be a like it might not be a bad idea to go with R&R because again, those are things you're going to go through every year anyway. But if for a real and bed knife, I don't know. I mean, if there's not a huge price difference, again, I've never priced R&R stuff to know, but if not a huge price difference, you might want to consider it. But it's just something to keep in mind because I like the real my Greensmaster is still razor sharp from the grind that it got in the spring, and it hasn't been backlapped, nothing, and it still cuts paper all the way across really really well. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, Jerry Pate Company and R&R are the ones that I'm aware of. There might be other people that sell Toro parts, but those are the main two that I'm aware of: R&R and actually the like genuine Toro parts from Jerry Pate Company or whoever else is like a Toro dealer. All right, next up we got Dwayne's World. He says, no mowers being sold. Pick up the GM for a steal, and I still have room in the shed. LOL. So that makes it worse, Dwayne. I was trying to help you out here. I was trying to say, you know what, you're selling, you're doing the responsible thing. You don't have like mower acquisition. You don't have like what we're going to call it, MAS, mower acquisition syndrome. I'm going to say, we're not going to diagnose you with MAS, but it seems like you do have it because you're not getting rid of stuff. You're just getting more and more mowers. So I don't know, man. I was trying to help you out. And what I predict is going to happen too is now that you have the GM and you start mowing with it and you really start enjoying the kind of cuts you're going to get, you can be like, well, I need a backup for that one because I really don't want to use my trimmers anymore. It's going to have those as like, museum pieces and I need a backup. So eventually you'll probably end up with a Flex in your lineup, knowing you. But yeah, man, it's a very cool mower. You did a nice job restoring it. And to your point, it is next level and it's only going to get better. As you start mowing with it consistently, you're going to really love the way the lawn looks. There's nothing like a drum powered reel mower, and again, if you get that in like in a greens mower, even better. So like the difference between like the cut I got out of like my True Cut or an Allet or even like a Swardman or like the Allet Sterling, like a lighter mower, like this guy back here, which is a relatively light mower. Like it's just better. The stripe action is better, but then you add a little bit of weight to it, like what you have in that Greensmaster, and it's just it's next level, man. You get stripe action, like we'll use Robert again. There's that's Greensmaster stripe action right there, or it's real more stripe or Greensmore stripe action. I think Robert actually has a John Deere. I believe he has a John Deere, but it's a greens mower. That's what you're looking at there. So you're gonna enjoy it, man. It's pretty awesome. Congrats again on the pickup. It's a great mower. All right, next up is Jonathan Daza. He's in the live stream. He says, "Hey Ron, another great week of lawn talk. I appreciate that, sir." He says, "I have turp type tall fescue in LA. How many pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet should I put down for weekly spoon feeding?" That's a good question. I don't actually know how much turf type tall fescue takes. Let's see here. Tall fescue nitrogen requirements. Because Bermuda, it's 4 to 5 pounds per year, and you obviously do that over the growing season. So fescue 3 to 5 pounds. So similar to Bermuda, 3 to 5 pounds per year over the growing season. So what I would say is if you aim for, let's see, how often you want to do it? Weekly spoon feeding. If you let's aim for a goal of like say 0.8 pounds of nitrogen, between 0.6 to 0.8 pounds of nitrogen per month. Let's go with 0.8 because that's the math is easier. So if we go for like say 0.8 pounds of nitrogen per month over the entire month, then if you did 0.20, so a tenth or 2/10 of a pound of nitrogen every week, that would get you there. Or if you want to go a little bit lower, you want to back the rate down a little bit, you could do like 15 times 4 is 60. So you could do 0.15, so 0.15 pounds of nitrogen every week, and that would get you 0.6 pounds of nitrogen over the course of the month, and that should work out well. Because looking here is that fescue is similar to Bermuda. It's like it says 3 to 5 pounds. Bermuda's 4 to 5 pounds, so it's around the same thing. So if you want to stay on the lighter side, then go with 0.15 pounds of nitrogen every week if you want to get out there and do that. Whatever product you're using, just do the math on how much of it you need to apply. Like the label should tell you. Like with for example, like with Turfplex. So something like this. Let me see. So shop and then lawn fertilizer and Turflex, which is sold out right now. But like say if you're going with Turflex, with this product, it is 6 ounces, 6 ounces, 6 fluid ounces of this product per 1,000 square feet gets you 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen, right? So you could then do, if you're going to do 0.15, you could do 9 ounces over 1,000 square feet, and that would get you 0.15. So again, whatever product you're using, just read the label and do the math to figure out how much of it you need to apply to get your weekly spoon feeding, to hit your numbers. Again, do not over apply it. If anything, Jonathan, I would lean towards the lower end, because you're gonna be out there every week feeding it. If you want to, I gave you a rate between like 0.15 or 0.20. I would lean towards that 0.15, because every week you're going to be out there. You know what I mean? So let's start out light, and you can see how it's looking. Look at the color response. And if it's just not, light grass is growing the way you want, you can always bump it up a little bit. But let's start on the low end, especially since you're going to be literally just doling out a little bit of, you can be spoon feeding a little bit of nitrogen every single week. So hope that helps, sir. And then Robert Rainey says, it's all because of the Golf Course Lawn Academy, sir. That's true. You are, if you are a student of the Golf Course Lawn Academy, and again, the student has become the master when it comes to fall stripe action. Check it out. Yeah, Robert. There's a few other people that are here in the live stream are members of the academy. Again, and the coolest part is the Facebook group, right? Right now it's a little bit slower because this time of year people aren't really working on their lawns as much. But the best part, in addition to like the slight discount you get for certain products on the store, and more direct help from me, is just the community. The community is really, really cool. All right, next up is Randy Velarde. He says, hey Ron, what is your sweet spot for height of cut on Bermuda for deep green and stripe action? Randy, you are asking a question that is near and dear to my heart, sir. I put a lot of thoughts into this. I've tested a couple of different heights. And for me, the best height to cut Bermuda at, and this is for me, is 3/4 of an inch, 0.75. I'll give you a range between 5/8, between 0.625 to 0.75. That is the sweet spot for Bermuda, in my opinion. I don't want to give you an answer. I'm going to tell you why I think that. While you can cut Bermuda shorter than that, and it'll absolutely tolerate it. It'll look like a golf course fairway. Like you can cut it like 1/2 an inch or even shorter than that. It's gonna look really cool. The problem you start getting into is when you start going shorter than that, is the color, like the deep green, starts to go away. Like it still looks good, but it doesn't have that really vibrant pop, that really vibrant green. Like if you look at the color of Robert's lawn here, you see how that is? Like that, it won't even look, it looks similar to that. Maybe not even quite that green if you're cutting it below 1/2 an inch. So the lower you go, it looks cool, but the color isn't as good. Another negative of going shorter, even though Bermuda will tolerate it, is that the mowing requirements begin to really become untenable as temps get warmer. So if you think the idea of cutting your lawn at 1/2 an inch, or like last year when I was doing it at just under 1/2 an inch, sounds cool. It's fun until like June rolls around. And even with growth regulator, you're out there, if you want to stay nice and green between mowings, you're out there mowing it every 36 hours. It's really every day. So you could mow it, like I could mow it in the morning, say tomorrow, and then mow it Sunday afternoon. Like that, I could get away with that. But what I ended up doing is just mowing it in the morning every single day, right? But so as you start going shorter, especially in the summer months, it's just not, it begins to ruin your life. It begins to become not fun, because you have to be out there and you have to mow it all the time, pretty much every day when it's hot, if you want to stay green between mowings. That's the key thing, right? I mean, going short is not hard. Like you can mow any lawn short, but it's gonna look brown and scalped and look nasty, right? If you want to stay green between mowings, meaning every time if you're cutting it still looks really nice, that is where having to really pick up your mowing frequency becomes a thing with lower cutting heights. So I find, again, between 0.62 and 3/4 of an inch, you get the best color, you get excellent color, you get really good color, you get like 90% of the color, really, really good color. It stripes better, because remember, for the lawn to stripe, the grass has to bend over. You need to be able to bend it over. And literally, if you got like a grass that's this long to bend over, it's not as much to bend over versus a grass that's this long. We'll say that this is like 3/4 of an inch. That's more to bend over. So the stripes are going to look better. They're going to be more pronounced, and they're going to last longer. So there's just a lot of reasons, in my opinion, why if you want to start shorter, start the season out at like 5/8, like 0.625 thereabouts, and then by June you can move up to like 3/4 of an inch, and then that is a good cutting height to not have real mowing ruin your life, right? Because if you're shorter, if you're under half an inch, like you can't be going away for a week at a time. Like you're going to come back to a nightmare on your hands. So you really, so 3/4 of an inch is what I would say, in my opinion, is a good cutting height. And frankly, 3/4 of an inch, if you live in Georgia, you can maintain that throughout the entire year. Like my lawn is still at 3/4 of an inch. I'm not going to raise the height of cut. It's going to go into dormant. It's already in dormancy, but it's going to stay at that same height throughout the entire winter. And in the spring, when I go to scalp it, it's going to still be at that height. So 3/4 of an inch is a good height for that reason as well too. Last year I went into dormancy at half an inch, and that was fine as well. But if you ever get a cold snap, like a extended period of cold weather, having that little extra cushion is also nice to help protect the grass, help protect the roots. And there's just the amount of work that you are signing up for by going 1/4 of an inch shorter it's exponentially more than in my opinion than the benefits warrant, right? You know what I mean? So I would say 3/4 of an inch. I know it's a long drawn out answer because it's something I've tested, and I will stand by 3/4 of an inch. 0.75 is like that is the ideal height for Bermuda grass for it to not ruin your life, to get all the benefits and none of the negatives. So there you go. Hope that helps, sir. Next up is Mr. Roderick Sayers. He says, "Hey Ron, from Nashville. I overseeded my tall fescue seeds almost 4 weeks ago, and I haven't seen any germination. Should I try again? Should I aerate first?" Yeah. So fescue tends to germinate fairly quickly. It's kind of like ryegrass. Within 4 weeks, I would expect to have seen something by now. Here's the thing, Roderick. How thick is your lawn? Like if it's really thick, you're gonna have challenges with getting the seed to germinate and grow in. Like it needs like obviously light, needs warmth, it needs light for the seed to germinate. So if you're having that problem in a thinner area of your lawn, then I mean I guess you can put more seed down, but fescue really grows in pretty easily. But again, I'm thinking that if your lawn is already established and it's already, it's relatively thick, you're gonna have you're gonna have challenges with getting the same level of germination that you would get if it were like a bare lawn. But yeah, you can try again. Should you aerate first? I don't know that aerating is something I would necessarily say you have to do. If you want to, again, assuming, I don't know what the weather's like in Nashville, but assuming that you've still got some growing season left, if you want to lightly, again, keyword, lightly turf rake, like don't get aggressive, like a light turf rake where you're not getting anywhere near the grass, you're not getting anywhere near the soil. You're just gonna help kind of clean any debris out, kind of thin. Like I hate to use the word thin, but thin the lawn out. But really, just remove any loose debris that might be negatively affecting your germination. That's something you could try. I would do that before I would go out and aerate the lawn. I wouldn't necessarily aerate, but again, a light turf raking, again, key word here, a light turf raking where it's set, the spring, the fingers, the tines are set relatively high, where you're just trying to clean out any light debris, just to give the seeds a better opportunity to get more sunlight, get more water, get a little bit more warmth. That should help with your germination. But aerating, I don't know that I would do that. I would do a light turf raking and then try it again if you want. Also, I'm assuming that you didn't apply pre-emergent this fall, right? Because if you applied pre-emergent, then you're going to have challenges with getting the grass, any kind of grass seed to germinate. So you didn't say that, but that's another thing to just keep in mind. If you applied pre-emergent last month, then you are going to have problems, it's going to be a challenge to get any kind of seed to germinate in your lawn. If that's not the case, then again, try what I was talking about, a very, very light, non-aggressive turf raking to just kind of to expose a little bit more of the soil, so that when you put that seed down, you improve the chances of it of it taking and starting to grow. And that's what I would try next, assuming again you haven't applied pre-emergent. If you apply pre-emergent, don't bother, because it's not really going to you're not gonna get good germination. All right, good question now. Next up is Mr. Patrick Dufresne. He says, how deep do you set your verticutter when you use it on your lawn? Great question, Patrick. So I set mine it's set right at 2 millimeters, 2 mil above the surface. So I don't set it to where it gets into the dirt, into the dirt at all. It doesn't get into the doesn't break dirt at all. It's so when the first time I verticut, when I was still thinning the lawn out and cleaning a lot of debris out of it, I had it set to 4 millimeter at first, and then I worked it down to 2 mil, and that's where it sits now whenever I'm verticutting. So 2 millimeters is where that's where I roll. That's where I roll my verticutting, and that's also the same height that I use for turf raking as well. I don't set up the turf rake or the verticutter to get down into the soil. It's literally just above the surface, because literally what I'm trying to do is remove loose debris, and with the verticutting to help thin the lawn out a bit, cut the stolons, cut the runners to help to thin things out a bit. And 4 mil is fine for that, but 2 mil is as low as I need to go to get a really good result. So hope that helps, sir. So whatever verticutter you're using, if it has the ability to do that, just you can always go more aggressive. So start less aggressive and work your way down. Is what I would recommend. And as far as how I did that, I haven't done a video on how I set up the verticutter. It might be something I can do over the winter. Some content to film, right? Is I take a bar. So like the outlet comes with a straight bar, a bar and a screw. And what I just do is you take the bar and I basically flip it over, and I just take the screw and run and have like 2 millimeter. I measure 2 millimeter of thread on the side. How can I explain it? I'm not doing a good job explaining this. Let's say my finger is the bar, right? And then this is the screw that we use for setting the height of cut. Normally there would be a nut here, like where my thumb is. Like say this is like the screw, and this is a nut that locks it in place. Obviously, if you're setting the height of 2 mil, the nut, like the actual height of the nut is taller than that, so it's not going to work. So what you do is you run the bolt all the way through the bar, and then use the nut on this side to lock it. And then what I measure from the top here, from the top of my finger to here, is 2 mil. And then I set that, and I just adjust the tines to where it just barely just touches that. And then I've got it set to 2 mil. So I probably do a great job explaining it. I should probably make a video on that to show what I'm talking about. But that's how I set up the verticutter on the outlet to get the height that I'm after. So hope that helps, sir. All right, next up is Robert Majoros. He says, Ron, I am feeling your pain. Since the mow last week with the big John Deere, it's going in for service and then tucking her in. She'll be ready for next spring. And that's a good point, Robert. One of you guys asked earlier about winterizing, but now if you have another mower to scalp with, right? And ideally, if you can use a rotary mower for that, that would be better. Like the grass doesn't know whether it's being cut with a rotary or being cut with a real mower when it comes to scalping, because you're just doing a big clean out. So if you've got another mower that you can use for scalping, now is a great time of year to get your mower freshened up. Like if you got a real mower, take it in for service now. Like the guys, like the sharpening services are not really busy now. They're going to take more time, or they can take more time because they're not trying to burn through a bunch of equipment to get everything ready like they are in the springtime. And then you can take it, again, light oil on it, hit all your grease fittings, your Zerk fittings, and then just put it up and you're good to go for next year. So if you have a mower that you can cut with or you can scalp with in the spring, I would highly recommend getting your sharpening done now and just have the mower put up and just ready to go for next year. So where you're doing it, Robert, is exactly what I would recommend. It's exactly what I would do. It's what I did with the outlet and the Greensmaster. I might not even do anything because it's still sharp. It is really needed. There's no reason to cut to grind off metal if it's still cutting good, right? So there we go. Dalvin Larry's up next. He says, hey, Ron, I have to admit I haven't mowed in over a week, and it feels nice. I mowed every other day during the growing season. It's nice to have a 4-month break. I agree, Dalvin. That's the thing. Other than the cold weather, or should I say, in addition to the cold weather, like not having to get out there and mow all the time, it is kind of nice. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to be You don't have to be that guy, during the winter months where your lawn is green, you're dominating year round. I mean, you can, but I mean, it's just for me anyway. It's a lot of work because it's not just me. Like one, I have a day job. I have like my real job, and then I also do YouTube content. Right, there's that. So when I have a little bit of free time, I like to make content and videos for you guys, and and that takes a lot of work between like coming up with the idea, scripting it, shooting it, editing it, and then also taking care of the lawn. And it's in the when during the growing season. Now it's kind of a break, and it's to your point. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to not have to be out there all the time mowing it, right? So I completely hear you. Completely hear you. All right, Steve Jackson is up next. It says, "Rock on, Dalen. Welcome to the club. Quick update on the front. The lawn is dead. Roundup applied 3 weeks ago. Nice, nice, Steve. So you are you got to send us an updated picture. Let's see how it's doing. I know I think you sent me a picture on the live stream a couple weeks ago. But if you can, maybe not this week, but for next week, send us an update and let us see what it's looking like with the roundup, which it should be have taken effect really nicely by now." All right, career choices 912. He says, "Hey, say Ron, glad to see you and those in the chat. I'm just getting in. How was the series of contests last weekend?" It was good. So last week, so the fall in the fall, we have a black belt test and we have a clinic. So we have master instructors from the two that came in. They are from New Jersey. They came down, taught a bunch of sessions on kicking techniques. We had like a jujitsu session that some of the instructors from this our school went to. I taught a section on sparring techniques, on point sparring. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So we have like the test. We have some instructions. I didn't get to do any instructions. I was teaching my section, which is not as great for me, great for the students, but I didn't get to do like some of the stuff that they were doing over there. I was kind of looking, it looked kind of cool. I didn't get to do any of that, unfortunately, but I was there actually helping out, working. And then the group sparring was fun because that was cool, or the team sparring was fun. So we had, well, look for the next comment, I can tell you about it. We had like teams put together where the team could be 3 to 5 people. And the way it works is between every point you had to swap someone else in. So you couldn't have one super really good sparrer come in and just like rack up a ton of points. The idea was you gave everyone a chance, and then it made it more balanced than like putting in like your one rock star guy or girl and have them just beat everybody, get a bunch of points, and then step out for a little bit. So it was a cool way to do it. And yeah, it was fun. It was good. It was fun getting together with everybody again, and we'll do it again in the spring. Spring will be a tournament though. Spring will be a tournament that we're hosting, so should be a good time. All right, next up is Fairway Bermuda Lawn. He says, "Hey Ron, glad to see you back in the seat. Soil test results front and back was a little bit different. I sent them to you last week. It was cool to see. I'll have to take a look for those, Daryl. I'll see if they're at the top. If you have them, you can send them to me again. So they're top of my inbox. I can see if I can so I can take a look at them after the show. But I should be able to find that. I know what your email address is. Should be able to look that up, because I'd like to see what the differences were between your front and back lawn." Career Choices is back again with a question. He says, "Also, is it a waste to use Carbon Pro G and Carbon Pro L during the winter and fall seasons?" No, it is not. I don't use the liquid during the fall and winter months. I do use the granular though. So the granular you can absolutely use. The liquid I don't. You can, but I do not. So yeah, if you have the two of them, go with the granular. You're using Carbon Pro G, but I'm using Essential G. But they're both made by Miramichi Green. Can't go wrong with either one of them. Both great products. Great products. All right, David Hollinsworth says, "Do you have to scalp Bermuda every spring? If I don't scalp, what are the negatives?" So do you have to scalp your lawn? No. The positives to it are you thin out the lawn. You get a lot of any dead material out. You're basically cleaning out the lawn. You're giving it a good freshen up. The benefits to it are that it greens up a bit faster. So you tend to get a green up a couple of weeks sooner than lawns that don't get scalped. But that's the biggest thing. Your lawn greens up faster. You just thin it out so that given that lawn care enthusiasts tend to mow their lawn every few weeks, or every few weeks, that'd be bad. A couple times per week, and they have a good fertilization program and biostimulant program. What tends to happen is when you start you feed the lawn regularly, and by the time you get around the June time frame, the lawn begins to thicken up really, really thick, and you start to have cutting problems. So the way to ensure the first part of the season, or to delay that as much as possible, and also get a good green up, is to start thin the lawn out. Like start with it thinner, with less material in it. It's going to, again, the benefits are it greens up faster. And yeah, I mean, it greens up faster. It looks really nice when it comes back in. If you are going to apply a fertilizer, another benefit to that too is that with the lawn scalped, and if you take all the debris out, if you apply fertilizer, none of it's going to get caught up in the canopy. If you're putting down biostimulants, they're not going to get caught up in that thick canopy that kind of tends to build up over winter months. So there's a lot of reasons to do it. The negatives to scalping is that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's really hard on your equipment. And then you have to get rid of all the material. If you're doing it right anyway, you have to get rid of all that material that you're cutting off and taking out of the lawn. So it is a lot of work. I think the benefits are worth it, especially if you don't have a means of thinning out, or like verticutting the lawn, or thinning out the lawn throughout the growing season. Then I think a spring scalp is a good thing. I've done it every year, and it's again, my lawn, Alex's lawn, we green up before everyone else because of that, and it's just a good thing to do. Strictly necessary? Do you absolutely have to do it? No. But is it good for the lawn? Yes. So I would say that yeah, I'd say it's something you absolutely should do if you have the time and desire. There's not really any negatives to it other than it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And that if you do it, if you don't have a rotary mower, David, and use a reel mower, you are going to have to take your mower in for service, for sharpening after you're done with it. Because again, it's really hard on equipment. So if you have a rotary mower, that's what I would use for scalping versus your nice reel mower. All right, next up is 813 King. He says, not true. I mow every couple of days with growth regulator with TIF Grand. What cutting height are you? You said, and I mow at, let me see, and you mow at 0.1. You're telling me you're mowing at 0.2. You're mowing at at a 20th of an inch, and you're only mowing every couple of days. I got to see that. I gotta see the lawn. I have to see this lawn, because I'm not gonna say I don't believe you, but I've not seen a lawn cut that short. In other words, if you are truly cutting at we'll call it 0.20. If you're truly cutting at 0.2 of an inch, and you're only mowing even with growth reg every couple of days, that would be impressive. 813 King. I've never seen that. That pulled off. I mean, I'd like to see a picture of that. That'd be interesting, because with my lawn, again, maybe TIF Grand is something special, or grows really, 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 really slow. But with 419 and Arden 15 at 0.45, which is what I was set to during the summer months, even with growth reg, it's if you want it to stay green between mowings without any kind of scalping, you are going to be out there every day. I mean, I say every 36 hours. So you can mow in the morning, and then in the evening the following day, and then you can skip a day in the morning the following day. So you technically don't have to mow every day, but every 36 hours is what I found was what was needed to keep the lawn like beautifully green between mowings, where there's no discoloration between mowings. You can stretch out the mowing interval, but then you're going to lose some of the color if you do that. So I would like to see that 0.20 mowed every few days. That would be interesting, because you're approaching greens heights, man. That's literally like you're getting down to approaching like putting greens heights. You're getting close there, and greens on golf courses get mowed every day for the most part. So. All right. Next up is Roderick Sayers. He says, my back lawn is bald. Okay. Sounds, so let me see. What did you say earlier, Roderick? I'm looking for your, oh, okay. So in your case, so Roderick was the one earlier that said that he overseeded with tall fescue. Okay. So if it's bald, it's not really overseeding, it's seeding. So you're seeding from scratch then is what you did. Okay. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess you could try it again. I mean, fescue and ryegrass tend to germinate fairly easily. So if 4 weeks have gone by and you're not getting anything, and again, you haven't applied pre-emergent, you could give it another shot and see. But that's an interesting one. It should have I would expect it to grow in. Assuming your soil's in good shape. You've got enough nutrient. But even then, I would have expected to see some kind. Even the nutrient levels were not like perfect or ideal where they should be, I still would have expected to see some germination, and then maybe the grass die off after that. I still would have expected it to germinate. So give it another shot, Roderick, and see. Now, one thing, after you did your germination, after you did your seeding, did you ensure that you kept enough water on it? Because the thing that causes, again, assuming that conditions are correct for the seed to germinate, most seeding projects fail because people don't water enough. At least for Bermuda anyway, right? Most people will put the seed down, they'll water the first day or two, and they won't water, and they wonder why it won't grow. So really, you need to water. You need to keep the seed and the ground moist, not like soaking wet, but like it needs to stay moist until the grass germinates. So if you weren't doing that, if you weren't watering, that could be why you didn't get germination. But everything else you're describing, I can't see why it wouldn't have worked. All right. Next up is you told someone the color purple. You told Harpo to beat me. My lawn is littered with leaves. Yeah. So in your case, you're gonna want to clean it out. I wouldn't mulch that. Harpo. All right. East Atlanta 13 says, "What's a good place to get a McLean sharpened in Henry County, Georgia?" I do not know. However, I don't know in Henry County. But what you can do is if you check out Real Roller's website, they have a tool that they put together. Let me see here if I can find it. Real Rollers, they have the grinder finder. And if you go here, show you real quick. You go to Real Roller's website, you go to grinder finder, and you can see about they're getting a lot. They're getting a lot of these are all the different places that have reel mowers. Or shops that will do work on reel mowers. You can tell they got a bunch here in the Atlanta area near where Real Rollers is. But you put your zip code in, whatever Henry County is, wherever that is, you should be able to find someone. But in here, you got, I got to tell you, like the guy that I used that did an awesome job. His name is Michael, and I want to make sure I get his name. I want to make sure I get his company name right here. Let me look here really quickly, so I make sure I give you the right name. He sharpened the Allet and did an awesome job. It's called Atlanta Reel Mower Sharpening and Repair. So give this guy a call, East Atlanta 13. He did really good work. So you see at East Atlanta 13. Ask for Michael, that number there. Give him a call, and he will get you squared away. I don't know if as far as Henry County, if he'll go pick up there. But as far as like someone that does excellent work, quality work, I would highly recommend him. He's who did the sharpening on my Allet. He did a really nice job, and just took a lot of care with it. You know what I mean? So your McLean. It's a nice mower. You want to take care of it. You want to make sure it's done right. I would give him a call first, and then check also on Grinder Finder on Real Roller's website and see if there's someone perhaps closer. But he does great work. All right. Next up is Andrew. He says, at David Hollingsworth, yes, you should scalp in the spring, cutting off all the dead from the winter. I cut my Bermuda down to 1.7 inches to 2 inches. So I'm not sure where Andrew maintains his lawn, but he scalps down to 1.7. So, in my case, when I am at 3/4, I scalp down. I don't get down to the dirt. I go down to like just under half an inch is where I go with my scalping. So I take off enough to Andrew's point, I'm removing a lot of the dead material, but not so much that I'm getting down into the dirt, because I use my True Cut for it, and that's really hard on the mower if you do that. Like you're just beating it up really badly by doing that. And I don't know that it's really necessary or even worth it. Just make sure you go down really, cut it 1/4 of an inch or so, at least lower than the height you intend to maintain it at. Get the debris out of the lawn, and then you're good to go. All right. Next up, we're gonna get out of here early tonight, guys. You guys are running out of questions. We only got a couple more comments left, a few more left. Next up is Lance F. He says, "Yeah, buddy. Happy Friday, Ron. Kentucky bluegrass has been mowed every day at half an inch." Now that comment, this is useless without pictures, Lance. Where are the pictures? He says, "Now I'm showing worm castings. I don't want a mat down carpet. Should I raise the height of cut going into dormancy?" I don't know for Kentucky bluegrass. For Bermuda, you don't have to, but for KBG, I don't know if it's going to tolerate how it's going to do if it gets snow on it at half an inch, if it's going to tolerate that. I don't know. If Devin is still here, we could ask him and see what he has to say. Hey, moderator, we have someone that's looking for some special attention. Let's make sure we give it to him. There we go. But yeah, as far as height of as far as height of cut, I can't say for sure that I know Bermuda at half an inch you can go into dormancy and that's just fine. It'll come out of it just fine. But I don't know for KBG. I might be inclined to raise it up a little bit, Lance. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you on that one. All right, Lance F says, "Let's go Phillies." You know, it's funny. You're a Philly. I guess you're a Phillies fan. I'm an not kind of. I'm an Astros fan. Because a lot of my family lives in Houston. Like my dad's a big Astros fan, and the very first baseball game that I ever went to when I was a lot younger was the Astros versus, I think it was the Pirates. I think it was the Astros versus the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Astros lost. As long as I've been an adult, the Astros have always been bad. Like it's only here in recent years they've actually gotten to be a good baseball team. Like they've always been terrible. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see them go. I think they've already won it once, right? It's kind of cool to see them go to the World Series and just being an actual contender to win again. So yeah, because I remember when the Astros were a terrible team. Like here's what I remember of the Astros. I remember the Astros being bad when the Houston Oilers were the football team were still a football team in Texas before they moved. I think they moved to Tennessee. I think the Oilers became the Titans, right? But yeah, I remember when the Houston Oilers were still a thing. That was when I was a big baseball fan and followed the Astros, and they were terrible then, and not so much now. All right, so next up is Lance F. He says lawn care is more important than any game. LOL. It is, and you can always record it and watch it again after the fact. You don't have to watch. You have to sit there and watch the entire game now. Plus, here's the thing, and I'm gonna sound like a lamer for this. I really fell out of love with baseball in the 90s whenever they all went on strike for remember that was like a season and a half or for a long period there where there was like no baseball because they all went on strike. Like I was really irritated about that because I get it, they wanted more money, but like you're already getting paid like a lot to play a sport for a living. And yes, I didn't realize they can have an injury and not, they don't really have a lot of them have careers outside of this, but it's like an American pastime, and it's like it was kind of irritating that when they went on strike in the 90s, I was like, whatever, I'm done. I'm done. And since then, I haven't really followed baseball as much. Hence why I didn't know if the Astros actually got good in the last 10 years or so. All right, next up is Brooklyn Boy. He says, I live in Dallas, Texas. What can I apply to keep my grass green? So I would say Brooklyn Boy is if you want to keep your grass green, assuming you have Bermuda, you should not try and force to keep your grass green. Things you can do to keep encouraging it to continue growing is to mow it frequently, ensure it gets enough water. While it's still actively growing, continue to feed it, continue to fertilize it, but don't go out and do a heavy nitrogen application or a heavy fertilizer application to try and force the grass to keep growing and force the grass to stay green. You are just creating conditions that can potentially cause problems for you in the spring. But I would say the things that you would do to keep it green now are the things you used to keep it green during the summer, which are, if it's actively growing, feed it and then mow it regularly. Keep mowing it. That's gonna help. It's gonna encourage it or stimulate it to continue growing. And then when it decides it's time to check out and go dormant, let it go dormant. I would not try and force it to try and keep it green. It's just, you're just asking for a bunch of headaches next spring if you were to do that. Nathaniel Bunting is here. He says, hey, Ron, I want to add a soil treatment to my lawn program. I was looking at using Dirt Booster or Humichar. Do you have any suggestions? I can't comment on either of those because I've never used any of them. I can tell you what I do on my lawn, which is I use a product from Miramichi Green called Essential G. I can show you here really quick. So if you go to the golf course lawn store, and then go back here. If you go to the golf course lawn store and then you go to shop and then Miramichi Green biostimulants, as far as a granular product, let's see if we're going to load here. Yep. As far as a grounded product that you can use now, that is that's comparable to Humachar. I mean, they're all similar. The formulations are slightly different, but as far as like the ingredients they are comparable. What I would say is this is Essential G. This is what I'm using on my lawn this time of year, and I mean not this time of year. I use it year round, but this is what I'm using. This every month since 2020, I've applied a product like this on my lawn. If you already have Humachar and you want to use that, that's fine too. But this is what I have direct experience with. And the only rule I'll give you, Nathaniel, is as long as the ground is not frozen, you can apply this. If you live somewhere in the country, which you didn't say where you are, if you live somewhere in the country where like Jersey or upstate New York, someplace where you get like a hard freeze, then you shouldn't apply this. But really, you shouldn't be applying anything. You shouldn't apply any kind of granular to frozen soil. But if you live in Georgia, like if you're my neighbor next door, you could apply this literally year round if you wanted to. Great product. All right, next up is, and again, I can't talk about the other products you mentioned because I don't have any direct experience with them. All right, Samuel Henderson is here. Is up next. He says, and I think you're new. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat before, Samuel. If you are new, welcome. He says, I put down my pre-emergent last month. Can I scalp my lawn now? I wouldn't. I mean, what the answer is no. I wouldn't scalp your lawn this time of year, Samuel. So I'm assuming you have warm season grass, like you have Bermuda. Let's wait to scalp. Let's wait till springtime to scalp the lawn. I wouldn't scalp now. If you wanna get an early start on your scalp, you can do what I do, where I break it up into two different sessions where I do one in early February and then another one like late February, early March. And that has worked well for me. It kind of splits up the workload. And but yeah, there's really no benefit to doing it now because again, I'm answering this question assuming you have Bermuda, you have warm season grass. There's no reason to do it now because the lawn is about to go dormant. It's checking out. So save the scalping until springtime. Don't do it now. There's no reason to do it this time of year. Doing your pre-emergent, excellent job. Good job in getting that done. But let's wait a few months, well, more than a few months. Wait till like February timeframe before you consider doing any kind of scalping to the lawn. I wouldn't do it now. All right, next up is Jesus Prado. He's up here. He has a comment about PGR. He says, I've seen many videos of people applying PGR every 2 weeks, but either at quarter of the rate or half the rate. Many turf managers do this like Travis Hogan. What's your perspective or opinion on this? I think it's a great idea. So I started doing that. This year, Jesus, where this year was the first one where I did half rate applications. So normally in the past when I've done PGR, I've applied it once per month at full rate. I've used, where is it? Do I have it here? I think I do. Yeah, here we go. I've used Primo Max. So I've applied this at full rate in the past. This year, I tested out applying it at half rate, and I love the results because really what you get is you get all the benefits with none of the negatives, meaning you get the same regulation, the lawn never comes out of regulation, and you don't get tip burn. So by that I mean, if you ever apply a growth regulator that has Trinexapac ethyl in it, like Primo Max, and you apply it at full rate, what you will find is like a couple of days after you apply it, even if your lawn was vibrant green, was looking great, was nice, was a nice green lawn, you're gonna find it's gonna get like a yellowish haze to it. The terminology that I think a lot of turf pros will call it is called tip burn. The tips actually get just slightly damaged by the growth regulator. Some things you can do to help prevent that or to help reduce the effects of it are if you mix a little bit of fertilizer in with this, which is what I tend to do. I mix fert with some nitrogen and iron along with this. That helps reduce it some. But the best thing is to simply apply it half rate. So for example, the rate for Bermuda is, for hybrid Bermudas anyway, is a quarter of an ounce. To make the math easy, it's a quarter of an ounce per 1,000 square feet. So if you look at the label, the measuring cup here, it would be between 0.2 and 0.3. So halfway between right there, like halfway between 0.2 and 0.3. That amount of PGR mixed with a gallon of water covers 1,000 square feet for 3 to 4 weeks, for about a month, right? So what that works out to is if you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, you're going to end up applying 1 ounce, like a 1 fluid ounce of this product with 4 gallons of water, and that's going to cover 4,000 square feet. So if you're doing a half rate app, which is what I did this season and absolutely love the results, I'm only going to be doing that going forward, is you would take the same 4 gallons of water, which covers 4,000 square feet, and you're only going to put half an ounce. So you're going to go at half the rate and apply that at the beginning of the month, and then you can do the same thing again in the middle, 2 weeks later, where you're going to do half an ounce of growth regulator with 4 gallons of water, and that's going to do the other. That's going to get you to your full to your monthly allocation is what I'm after. The only real negative to doing that approach is that it takes more time. So whereas if you do a single app once a month, you're only out there once a month. Doing the split app option requires you to go out on the 1st and then get out on the 15th. For me, that's not really a big deal. For probably most of the people in the chat tonight, it's not a big deal because we're either out there anyway spraying a biostimulant or spraying some other fertilizer. And because Primo mixes nicely with most fertilizers that I've tested it with, it's not really any more work. So what I do is I just mix this along with Release 901C, NutriKelp, and Biospectrum, and I'll put a little bit of micronutrient in there as well. I mix them all in the tank, mix it all up, and I apply that on the 1st and again on the 15th. So yeah, for me, there's literally no negatives. There's only upsides to doing the half rate approach. There's really no negatives to doing. It just takes more time. So yeah, if you're looking to get into using growth regulator, which you should, because it's awesome, then I would highly recommend doing half rate applications every 2 weeks. It's a good way to go. All right, next up is Michael Walker. He says, have you ever heard of your Pro Grow, and if so, what do you think? I have not, Michael. I'm not sure what you're referring to by Pro Grow, so I don't have an opinion on it. Lemonade tonight. Lemonade and water night, guys. All right, Nathaniel is back. He says, thanks, Ron. I live in Central Texas, and the weather is still pretty good. High to mid 70s, low 50s, and plus we're getting some rain. Yeah, so that combination, Nathaniel, you should be green for a while. The grass should keep growing for a while with those kinds of conditions. Again, throw down some Essential G. Again, just add it. Think of it as something you do every month if you can. Every month, apply that, and along with everything else you're doing, and you're good to go. Great stuff. All right, next up, Atlanta says, "Where's your ice cold lemonade sip?" I got it here, man. I just took one. Tonight. I've got lemonade and water tonight. That's what I'm rolling with. He says, "Almost time for rum." Thanks again, Ron, for all you do, my man. Enjoy your weekend. I really appreciate it, Lance. Maybe some rum on Sunday when I'm watching football. That wouldn't be it's not a bad plan. Not during the live stream. All right, and then. Let's see here. And then 813 King says, don't the rates change at different heights? It seems like a generic number. Not really. Not really 813. So if you look at the label will tell you, so for hybrid Bermudas, it gives you a range. It gives you a range of 0.25 fluid ounces up to 0.38. We'll call it 0.4. Up to 0.4 fluid ounces per 1,000 square feet for hybrids. For common Bermuda, the rate, if memory serves me, is 0.75. It's 3/4 of an ounce. It's quite a bit higher for common Bermuda. The rate that you apply growth regulator at least from what I've seen in the label, they don't specify a rate change based on cutting height, but they do specify a range, that's acceptable given for your particular grass type. So whether you have a common or a hybrid, or you have a certain variant of whatever grass you happen to have, based on that, you can alter the rate. But by height, there's not. I've not seen any guidance that says you alter the rate based on that, or I have anyway. All right, Jesus Prado says, I sent some pics. Still going green and strong in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, that's right. That's right, Jesus. Yeah, you're the one with the soccer field. Man, that looks good. Man, that Arden 15 looks good. I mean, you know what? Seeing this makes me just want to keep my Arden. Wow, that is sweet. And yep. So let me show you guys really quick what Jesus is looking with. So you guys remember, he's the one that has the soccer field, and look at that. I don't care who you are. That's some good color there, man. That color is awesome. Really nice deep green, nice stripe action. The soccer goal is really nice too. Nice work, sir. I dig it. I dig it. It looks really looks really good. I would keep doing what you're doing. All right. Well, guys, I think that's all we have in the live stream for tonight. We don't have any other questions, comments, nothing else from anyone else. 813 King is saying that he says the rates are changed also based on height, and greens and regulation take different rates. Okay. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out on in the show tonight. That's pretty much all I had for you as far as for cool season, folks. Again, we've got now the herbicide kits for you, so you're covered. So it saves you a bit of money and time with getting your tenacity, sedgehammer, surfactant, and marker dyes. You're good to go. And then, and so yes, you're good to go. And I really appreciate you guys coming to hang out in the live stream, even though I know that this time of year there is not a ton going on in the lawn. So I really do appreciate the support. Jesus says, I know that Bermuda Sea is considered calm, but I've heard that it's like a hybrid, so that confused me on which rate to use. I use the 0.40 rate, Jesus. I've tested quarter ounce and 0.40 ounce. It tolerates it fine, and I get good regulation at that rate. So you can play with it and see what your particular lawn likes, but I've tested both of them, and I don't get any discoloration or any negative effects by going with the 0.40 with the hybrid rate on Arden 15. So so hope that helps. And then Optic Cyclic says, no, too late. If you have a question really quick, I can get it to you. And then Trevor says, great stream as always, Ron. Thanks for the help. Enjoy the weekend. And then Jesus, the rate I use again is 0.40. That's the rate that I lean towards. So play with it, try it out, see what you think, and let me know how that works out with you. Remember, when it comes to growth regulator, or really any products you apply to your lawn, you can always go up in rate. It's really hard to go down what you put in. So start low and then work your way up and see what the lawn tolerates. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys next week. I got some good topics, some good questions from you guys in the live stream tonight. So I'll do some research and get some answers. And I will talk to you next week. Have an amazing weekend. Take care.